So don't be nervous, don't be scared. Go to carlsondentalgroup.com. That's carlsondentalgroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Craving a cold one? Well, zip into one of the great gate locations you see all over town and pick up a cold Bud Light, or a Natty, or an Ultra, maybe a 12-pack of the King of Beers, or some cold Coronas. It's all happening at your local gate convenience store. Slide on in today.
I want my Woody's barbecue.
Hot Flying Jacko here, and when you have barbecue on your mind, I highly recommend Woody's Barbecue. There's one near you, whether you're in Green Cove or Fernandina, or all points in between. Woody's Barbecue's been cooking it low and slow for over 40 years.
For over 40 years, we've been making the best barbecue in town. See you at Woody's Barbecue today.
At Woody's Barbecue, it's what we do. Let's eat.
Introducing Fast Twitch, a new energy drink from Gatorade. Developed with 200 milligrams of caffeine to help athletes focus the mind and power the body for athletic performance. Great flavors like strawberry watermelon, glacier freeze, cool blue, and tropical mango, all designed to ignite athletic performance. Find it at your local Winn-Dixie. It's a win-win. Fast Twitch, official partner of the NFL and used by the pros. On-the-go energy from Gatorade.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Royal Pest Services. Kirby Smart and the top-ranked Bulldogs begin SEC play on Saturday against South Carolina.
Got a lot of respect for Shane and his staff, the staff he's assembled. They do a tremendous job with their players. They play really hard. Got a lot of respect for those guys. I know they tend to have players from our state, and we tend to have players from their state. That's always a really important game when it comes to a school that's this close geographically to you. So I know both teams will be up for the game, and should be a great atmosphere, and hope our fans can give us a home field advantage for this game.
Top-ranked Georgia hosts South Carolina Saturday at 3:30 on CBS. It's 89 degrees at 3 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Yeah, I had a hot day and it's a long way back to my home. Turn the radio on, I'm hearing my friend Lizzie pretend that there was counts. Nothing amounts to anything until I hear it from you.
Frank, Hayes, Lauren, and Gibby. The Frangie Show starts now on 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Hey, welcome in. Glad you're along for the ride on a Tuesday installment of the program. Our Tuesday is always brought to you by the Nimnick family of dealerships. That means Nimnick Chevrolet on Cassett. It means Nimnick Buick GMC, located on Phillips Highway. We're a day closer. I'm treating this like a bowl game.
This is a big weekend.
Yeah. It
really is.
And I got to be honest with you. I mean, I'm always, when you said yesterday you had started drinking, I thought you were kidding until I saw you stumble in today.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the stumbling was kind of tipped it off.
I'm glad you just saw that, not the puke in the corner.
Oh, I'm excited about what a big game this is going to be this way. I'm excited about the week. I'm excited about all of it. Were you guys watching last night when Aaron Rodgers got hurt? Were you watching at the time?
Mm-hmm.
Were you watching at the time?
Yep.
I was not watching at the time. I started watching later. My goodness, what a devastating injury. Whether you're an Aaron Rodgers fan, whether you're a Jets fan, God almighty. That's the biggest injury in the NFL in a long time, maybe since Brady blew the knee and Matt Castle had to play, because this was the offseason story. There was no second place. It was the offseason story. Is he going to sign? Is he going to stay? Are they going to trade him? What happens? And he's gone in 4 plays. The league's fine, but what a devastating story right out of the gate.
I think for a fan base, it's the most devastating injury that I've seen as a sports fan in my lifetime. Because, yes, and Brady's a good example, but they'd already won championships with him.
And he had years to come back.
And he had years to come back.
There were more years coming.
This is a franchise that hasn't won it all since Joe Namath was the quarterback. It has the longest playoff drought currently in the league. You acquire a first-ballot Hall of Fame quarterback. who you think has a few years left at 39. You just won 7 games last year with putrid quarterback play. You've got one of the best defenses in the league. This is your year. And 4 plays in, he tears his Achilles on your turf, by the way. I can't think of an injury that I would say was more devastating to a fan base than what happened to the Jets last night.
Yeah, and I think for people who said it's similar to Nick Foles, but the Jaguars didn't have the expectations that the Jets had.
Yeah, and I pointed out.
And it wasn't season ending.
Yeah, right. And I pointed out Nick Foles earlier only because the Jaguars went through something similar. But with all due respect to Nick Foles, this is Aaron Rodgers in New York. This isn't Nick Foles in Jacksonville. This was a. I mean, I said this in the handoff. Imagine if you're a New York sports fan. The Yankees suck. The Mets suck. The Giants just got beat 40-0, and Aaron Rodgers blows his Achilles on the 4th play. Tough time in the apple, isn't it?
Very tough.
God, are the Rangers or Knicks any good? I have no idea, by the way.
I don't think the
RJ,
Knicks
the Knicks any good?
Yeah, Knicks made the second round of the playoffs last year,
Okay.
but if you think they're a championship team, no.
That's about, well, if they made the second round, that's about all you got. And I mean, think about it. By the way, you know how bad it is? Do you know the Red Sox and the Yankees are playing a baseball game right now? And nobody in the world knows? I mean, it's the Red Sox and the Yankees are playing a baseball as we speak. They're playing.
Well, they're both out of it. There's 15 games left in the season,
right?
And they're both out of it.
But can you? I mean, I know, but I'm just thinking the Red Sox and the Yankees are playing a baseball game. You used to, at least back in the day, that's the one game that's the one regular season game you paid attention to.
Absolutely.
So, anyways, all right, a lot of things to get to today. I got a question about Trevor Lawrence that I'm going to ask at 3:16. Can I do that?
Austin 3:16.
Yeah, Austin 3:16. I'm going to ask that question at 3:16. So I got a question about Trevor Lawrence. I got a lot of things to get to today. Obviously the Chiefs come in. We'll talk so much about Patrick Mahomes and where he is, where he will be in the pantheon of great all-time quarterbacks when it's all over. Chris Jones plays. What's your thoughts on Chris Jones? Dave Campos said he thinks 30 plays, 30 good plays, but probably no more than that.
Yeah, but every snap he takes, he's dangerous.
Yeah,
so even if he only plays a handful of plays, the Jaguars' offensive line is going to have their hands full.
What's your guess? What you got on that?
I would think that's fair. Nick Bosa played roughly that. I think he was at 35 snaps, kind of the same situation and not quite the same position, but close. So I would think, I would, because of the heat maybe, I might go, and the fact that he's now going against guys that have played a real game. Bosa wasn't. Right. Everybody was making their debut. So I might, I'd put it like 25, 30 snaps. And I'll say this. When he's on the field, I would hammer him in the run game. Yeah, I would run right at him and show.
Wear him out.
Yeah, because he's not – this is what you know. He's incredibly talented. He's not in football shape.
Right.
So, and you'd love to have Sheriff. But even if you don't, you've got guys that have, gone through training camp. They've played in the game. Again, a lot of the Jaguars' interiors missed some of that time, but they're back now. They're acclimated. They're in football shape. The second he came on the field, I would run right at him.
College coaches have told me over the years that if you have a particularly big defensive lineman who's good, 320, 330, you make him chase. What you do early in the game is you design a play with RPO, jet sweeps, and you don't block him. So you take, let's say you got a 350-pound defensive lineman that's really good. A guy that clogs up middles, Jordan Davis from Georgia a couple years ago. Like, great player, but it's 330, 340. You run a sweep and don't block him. So if he's a good player, he plays hard. If he's not blocked, he's going to – now, Jordan Davis might have been so good he might have caught Kadarius Toney, but you get the point. You take Kadarius Toney, you run a jet sweep, and you make the Jordan Davis chase him. So your theory is different, but your theory is similar to that.
Yeah, my theory is he ready to really play?
Yeah,
and obviously Kansas City might use his whatever his snap count is, his pitch count on down and distances that are not enviable for the Jaguars, obvious passing downs. But the problem with that is the Jaguars are so good on first and second down that if you save him too much, I mean, he may not play a ton early. So I think he's going to be out there on a lot of first and 10s, and I would run right at him, blow him off the ball, and just see. Now, he may hold up, and if he holds up, then you quickly adjust from that. But he'd have to show me at least 3 reps where we're running right at him, and we're going to try to hammer them.
All right, we'll talk about that coming up later. And we got all kind of things to get to. You know what's something about Monday Night Football? Monday Night Football, I think Monday Night Football is making a resurgence. Is it $16 million a year that both Buck and Aikman got?
It's a lot.
I think it's 16 or 17. It's somewhere thereabouts. I know it's in the neighborhood of that. That might have been one of the best spends. I don't know what ROA or what they make, or what Disney's going to make, but that might have been one of the best spends. Monday Night Football, when I was a kid, was all the rage. You remember Monday Night Football?
It was the biggest game of the week.
By far the biggest game. One of the biggest game. And the biggest 16 days of the year in regular season for all sports. In fact, we were all in Canton. We saw the mural of the Yellow Jackets of Gifford and Meredith and Howard.
Because there was no Sunday night game.
Correct, or Thursday night game.
Right.
And so, but as the years went on, it faded. It was just another game, and then when Sunday night football came along, it totally passed it. So Sunday night became the big game, and part of Monday was it slipped to ESPN, which at the time still wasn't regarded nearly as much as the networks are. Well, that's changed. There's something that's changed. I'll get to that later. Buck and Aikman changed it because they went and got Buck and Aikman on Monday Night Football. So I sense, and I'm going to go get into this later, I sense there's a resurgence of sorts for the Monday night brand.
I think so. They've beefed up the schedule. They've incorporated a flex model this year for Monday Night Football to avoid some dreadful matchups. So they've really invested in that window, which for years they just relied on the iconic brand and didn't put enough energy into it. And now they've really doubled down and gotten back to it being important, and it shows.
And then there's the Manning cast, which isn't necessarily helping the viewership on Monday Night Football, but I do think that adds an element to it as well.
I do too. It addresses or it accentuates the brand. I think that. All right, today on the program, what should the Jets do? Do they go get Carson Wentz or somebody? Do they play with Zach Wilson? How good can they be without Aaron Rodgers? That's an obvious topic for today. The Chiefs, the Bills, and the Bengals are 0-1. Who saw that coming? Your Jacksonville Jaguars are 1-0 in case you missed it. Just wanted to throw that out at you.
So is the Titans, Colts, and Texans.
Well, very good point. Florida, Tennessee play. Are these the two coaches that can bring it back? Can they bring it back? I mean,
Heupel, I think.
Well, Heupel's brought Tennessee back.
Yeah,
but even when Florida looked like Mullen was bringing it back, nobody was bringing Tennessee back. So are these the coaches that can? We'll talk about that. Are these the coaches that can bring it back? And what does that thing mean? I got all kind of stuff. We are loaded up with stuff today. We'll take a break, but when we come back, I'm going to ask both of you a question about Trevor Lawrence. Get your thoughts. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
Everyone agrees that playing quarterback is the hardest thing to do in sports, yet it's the one thing that everyone says they could do.
Denny Thompson is the Quarterback Whisperer. Friday mornings on The Drill. Brought to you by Tyson Sound and Security on 1010XL.
Car Bravo is here, a better way to shop used vehicles with transparent pricing. Frank Frangie here. Nimnik Buick GMC has joined the Car Bravo family and is the only Car Bravo dealer in Northeast Florida. Car Bravo certifies all makes and models, and for a limited time, save an additional $500 when you purchase a Car Bravo certified vehicle at Nimnik Buick GMC. Stop by Nimnik on Phillips Highway or shop online at nimnikbuickgmc.com. Nimnik, your friends in the car business since 1941. GMC, we are professional grade.
I had a question about my insurance the other day, so I called my new State Farm agent. And would you believe I talked to the same person who remembered my name? They said that was called service. And then they asked if my dog Max was over his cold. They called that service too. And then they helped me find ways to save on my home and auto coverage. I asked State Farm what they called that. They said service.
Call State Farm agent Mike Tousell in Jacksonville at 425-4100.
Bowden Eye & Associates is here to tackle your family eye care needs like a pro. Hicken here. They're not just about glasses and contacts, folks. No. They're about providing a complete eye exam that can detect more than you can imagine. It's like reading the defense, my friends, with a complete eye exam. Bowden Eye can monitor and even discover hidden medical conditions. They've got the playbook to keep you in top shape with 3 convenient locations across town. Bowden Eye has the First Coast covered.
The experts at AMCO have been fixing cars for almost 60 years. Over that time, they've gotten more complex than ever. That's why our techs undergo rigorous training and certifications, so they can fix anything, including the most complicated repairs that come with some of the latest technologies. After 60 years, there's nothing we haven't seen or fixed. It's how we know cars inside and out.
Money tight? We can finance almost anybody. Find the AMCO transmissions nearest you at amcojacksonville.com.
What defines a hero? Dedication, loyalty, courage. Every day at AMCO, we serve heroes. For over 60 years, we've repaired and maintained the most critical public service vehicles. From complex transmissions to simple brake jobs with flexible financing and the extra safety precautions we need. The heroes we serve don't all wear uniforms. They're people like you. At AMCO, we're proud to serve all of you. AA MCO.
Family owned and operated in Jacksonville, Orange Park, St. Augustine, and St. Mary's, Georgia.
Put a little fire in your college football pregame.
I'm National College football writer Matt Hayes, and I'll bring you stories about players, coaches, and programs.
The Bueller Air Conditioning Saturday Kickoff.
Get you ready for football Saturday
on 1010XL.
Brought to you by Sonny's Barbecue.
Frank Frangie here. These days, it's hard to know which companies to trust. But when it comes to banking, I trust South State Bank. South State truly values its customers, and they work hard to create meaningful, lasting relationships. I love going into my local branch. I see the same smiling faces I've seen for years. South State is the largest bank headquartered in Florida, so they're able to offer all the banking services you need. You can trust South State Bank. Banking forward. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This is Mike Lynch, PGA Golf Professional. Take it from me, if you're dealing with an orthopedic issue, talk to the doctors at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where you're treated like a pro.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros. Thanks to all of you who have allowed us to be part of your recovery. Call us at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists if you ever have a need.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Past 5 years in Jacksonville, J-Dog Junk Removal has been on a mission to put veterans back to work. They have successfully helped over 40 veterans find meaningful employment, and they're not stopping there. Their goal is to reach an astounding 75 veterans employed by the year 2025, all in our local community. J-Dog Junk Removal, veteran-owned, veteran-operated.
Hear that? That's the sound of the grill in summertime. That is a clean grill by Grill SOS. Backyard barbecue season is here. Let the 5-star rated pros at Grill SOS deep clean your barbecue grill. Book now at grillsos.com.
You probably remember your first fender bender, but very few can tell the story of their crash with a semi-truck. That's because an 18-wheeler weighs over 20 times more than the average car. You might see it coming, but you probably won't remember much after impact. You need experience on your side. Our forensic crash reconstruction team and truck accident specialists know how to recover black box data and build a case that hits back hard. Your consultation is free. Farah and Farah, Jacksonville.
Hi, everybody. Mike Dempsey here. Look, I officially broke the news last week that I started Awaken 180 weight loss, and I dropped 9.6 pounds in my first week alone. Well, here's my second week update. After just 2 weeks, I'm now down a total of 16 pounds. I knew the weight would come off quickly, but what I didn't expect was the type of support I would receive from Awaken 180 while doing it. The very support that has helped Awaken 180 revolutionize the weight loss industry for the past 9 years. My coach, Mandy, literally does all the work. She sets out a plan, I follow it, and if I have any questions, she has the answers. And the best part, I'm learning by doing, eating to lose weight. Awaken 180 is the solution for weight loss, and through my experience so far, I can see why. Find your results and then receive free support for life with the Awaken 180 at Home program. Call 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Mind up the party. Who said they saw me? Crown on by Molly. Wrist on your gunny. They gon' judge your life.
It's a Nimnik Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnik, your friends in the car business since 1941.
We thank our friends from the Nimnik family of dealers. It's my buddy Billy Nimnik, Lee Nimnik, those wonderful Nimnik family. Two wonderful car locations. Nimnik Chevrolet's on Cassett Avenue at Park, Nimnik Buick GMC just off I-20 295 on Phillips Highway. They do it right. I can tell you that. They understand the car business. They treat you right. There's a reason you've done it as long as they've done it. Head to Nimnik today for all your automotive needs. All right, Homer alert before I ask it, but I am asking it seriously. Okay. Is there a chance, stay with me on this, that in February, January, March, when the season's over, whenever the season ends for this team, no matter what goes on this year, I am pretty convinced that we will look up in February and January or March and think that Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in the NFL. No matter what happens, no matter who wins what, no matter how far the Chiefs go or don't go, I'm relatively confident that we're going to look up in January and February and be pretty convinced Patrick Mahomes is the best quarterback in football. He's a generational player. But is there a chance we'll look up in February and Trevor will be, in our minds, in some minds, the second best guy? And before you answer it, I know Joe Burrow and Josh Allen are next in line in the minds of most. And then after that, I think there's a crapshoot of guys. Justin Herbert's in there. Trevor, in some minds, is in there. Lamar's in there. There's a lot of guys. Jalen Hurts is in there. He's earned his way into that category. I know that. But as far as checking all the boxes, he's 6'6". He's got a rifle arm. He's athletic. He's a great teammate. He's accurate. He plays for a really good coach on an ascending team. What are the chances that we're going to look up when it's all over, after whoever has the parade? I hope it's here. But whoever has the parade, it's all over, and the Pro Bowl, and we're starting to talk about free agency and the combine. And if we did a quarterback power poll, he might be the second best guy. If I lost my total mind thinking that that's not a certainty, but that's a possibility after this season?
It's certainly a possibility because he's already starting to get people noticing his second half of last year. And now, obviously, a good, solid first game in which his passer rating was 103.8. So I think in looking at it, if he has another huge year, well, now you've got a span of 26 games in which he's been really a dominant player, because he was a dominant player the second half last season. And so I think that'd be enough of a window for at least some to make the argument that, yeah, it's Mahomes, and then I would take Trevor Lawrence. I don't think that that's going to be a far-fetched opinion if Trevor stays healthy, because if Trevor stays healthy,
that's right,
he is going to have an unbelievable season. And the thing, too, that helps with that are the wow plays he makes. I mean, we don't talk about that a ton in the NFL. It's more of a college thing in terms of your, Heisman moment and things like that. But, I mean, the two touchdown throws he had the other day were phenomenal.
Yeah, we don't talk enough about the first one. Everyone, the throw to Zay Jones was so good that the play to stay alive, to spin out and roll back left before he hit Ridley was a heck of a play.
Absolutely. And so, yeah, I think he absolutely has the chance. Now, it's like you said, there's a lot of contenders.
Right, that's right.
But I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility, because the thing that's going to help Trevor, too, is you don't want to have any attrition, but they could survive it, I think. I mean, even if, God forbid, something happened to Calvin Ridley, well, you would still have Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Evan Ingram. Okay, well, that's three pretty good options. If something were to happen to Zay or Christian or, Evan, I mean, it's not ideal, but there's a lot of teams where, if the Raiders lose Devontae Adams, that's it. They're going to throw for 80 yards a game. There's a lot of if look at the Chiefs with Kelsey. That's prime example. We saw what they look like without him. So I think that'll help him as well, is that he could even probably afford to lose one guy and still be pretty effective. But as long as he has the weapons around him and he's got Doug Peterson leading the way, yeah, I think he absolutely could be the second best quarterback in the minds of many behind Mahomes.
I also think if you had asked us this before the season started, we probably would have hedged it a little bit, saying, yeah, you've got to take into account what Joe Burrow has done. He's already been to a Super Bowl. Josh Allen looks to be ascending. But now, after a week of watching both of them and watching Trevor, there are certain throws he makes, that one that split the defenders and then looked, at least at first, like they were both injured for the Colts. That throw, like you said, the throw to Zay Jones, where he put it where if Zay couldn't get it, the defender couldn't get it. The throws that he makes, but also the ability to always be in the game. After throwing 4 interceptions and being down 27 points, the Jaguars still won that game. That's the mentality that I don't know that every quarterback, even the ones you mentioned, have. I think some of them, including Josh Allen, are not able to come back when their team is facing that kind of adversity.
Yeah, he's been in that situation a lot. The Chargers game, of course, paramount among those. So you're right. There's a fortitude thing there, and you're right with the first thing you said. Yeah, the struggles of the Bengals and Bills are what got me thinking this. I'm not going to lie. I mean, the fact that both the Bengals and the Bills really looked bad on offense is what got me thinking. Okay, they're the next two guys in line. I mean, and if you got a consensus of best quarterbacks in the NFL, and you asked a bunch of people to cover the league, Mahomes would be one, and those two guys would be 2 and 3, with a possible appearance by Jalen Hurts or Herbert or Lamar. But for the most part, I think wouldn't they be 2 and 3 on most lists?
I think so.
I think they would, and they both played badly, or their teams both played badly.
Josh Allen was putrid.
Yeah, and he just never putrid and never found a rhythm. He was throwing the easy ones too hard. He was off the mark. I didn't watch the Burrow game, but they only scored 3 points. He couldn't have been he's been hurt now, but he couldn't have been very good.
The Burrow thing was almost like he couldn't move well, and so the line didn't block well for him, so it was almost like he didn't have much of a chance. But still, to see him only complete 45% of his passes was stunning.
So
Josh Allen had time and just made poor decision after poor decision after poor decision, and it got his team beat.
Yeah, and I know it's one game, but I'm thinking, okay, Aaron Rodgers may or may not come back. Tom Brady's career is over unless Hayes is going to sign him to the Jets, which
that's what I would be doing.
Not out of the realm of possibility. But for now, Tom Brady's not playing. Aaron Rodgers isn't playing, so the old guys are gone. Mahomes, I've already acknowledged, will be the guy that everybody says is first. I'm telling you, I think we're going to look up, and it's going to be January, February, and the Jags have had a good season, wherever that good season took them, and we're going to be, by then, deep into contract negotiation or extension talks about Trevor. I mean, obviously, that's going to be an off-season story, wouldn't you think?
It'll be the biggest one around here.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think the deal will get done until we're very close to week 1
Yeah.
of 2024, because that seems to be now the model.
I agree.
So I would think the Jaguars, Trent Baalke, Shad Khan, Doug Peterson, that's what they'll follow.
But I mean, if I'm right and he becomes that, my goodness, the years ahead, the years I mean, thank you, Frank Gore. I mean, the more you think, I just got thinking about that. I'm watching football last night, and I'm watching Aaron Rodgers go down, maybe for the last time, and I hope not. I hope Aaron Rodgers can come back and play, but it's not going to be this year, and he is 39. So my guess is he plays 2 or 3 more years. But for the sake of the discussion, I'm watching him go down. I'm looking at highlights and how how badly the Bengals played. I'm watching Josh Allen last night, who, to your point, Hayes, wasn't very good last night. I think Lamar Jackson's a really good player. I don't know that he's the best 1 or 2 in the league player. I think Jalen Hurts is a really good player who had a magnificent season, really good player. But I don't know that we're going to look up he's the 2nd or 3rd best quarterback in the league. He might be. He's a good player. But I don't know. I think our guys got a lot of that stuff that the others don't have. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be one of the best 2 or 3 quarterbacks in the National Football League at some point. I do believe that. I'm just wondering if the point is 6 months from now.
There's no reason it can't be. I mean, he's in his 3rd year. He's survived a lot of things that, some young quarterbacks wouldn't. And he's now thriving. His confidence, which was never shaken, amazingly, is at an all-time high level. He has full belief from his teammates in him. He's got full belief from the coaching staff. He's got the right environment. He's got the weapons. He's got the schedule. He's got the fact that he's not going to play in a lot of bad weather games. It all sets up well for him. And so, yeah, I think health is the only, variable. If somehow he, gets injured, then obviously you have to hit pause for a while until he's back. But if this continues, if he starts 17 games, I think the people that, predicted he'd win the MVP, I think they've got a good bet on their hands.
Yeah, we'll see what winds up happening.
By the way, I have to throw Tua Tagovailoa in the conversation.
Yeah, you're
just
right.
based
You're
off
right.
of what
I agree.
What he did last year before he got hurt and what he did week 1.
I tend to not give him as much credit as I should.
He doesn't have an arm like Trevor, obviously.
He doesn't have a big
but
arm, and
he's got a great receiver that helps him.
And I'm a little biased against him is the wrong phrase because seems like a wonderful guy. but I'm a little biased against him only because I didn't project him to be great in the NFL. I just when he was coming out and Trevor, he didn't have the throwing motion. He had that little short arm motion. He just didn't have. And Trevor and Josh Allen and Herbert, some of these big arm guys, he and Herbert came out together, and I thought Herbert had the big. So I never could get myself to where he was going to be there. So I probably don't give him enough credit. Because Tua's a pretty good player, and Tua's a good leader. He's a tough. If he can stay healthy, that's the question on him. But he's got all the other good. I agree with you. He should be in that conversation. So, but I don't know. I got a feeling. I'll say this about the Jaguars and all of us and fans and everybody listening right now. Football's interesting. As a football fan, you got to wait. Football fans, you're in the wait business. Maybe that's why the sport's so popular. Baseball, you lose tonight, you play again tomorrow. Basketball, you lose tonight. In college basketball, you play in 2 nights, right? Every other sport, it seems like you're playing a lot. Hockey, they play all the time. Major League's always playing all the time. Even college baseball plays all the time. College basketball is usually Tuesday, Thursday, or Monday, Thursday, Saturday, Monday, Thursday, something like that, right? Football fans got to wait. That's it. You got to wait. It doesn't matter if you want to wait. You got to wait a week. Of all the having to wait to see the next Jaguars game, in my case, call the next Jaguars game. In our case, your guys' case, cover the next Jaguars game. I don't know that it's ever felt as agonizing as it is now. Does that make sense? Is that the right word? I'm trying to find a word.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that.
It's just more. I'm more eager to get to Sundays than in the 29 years they've had a team here. I did feel that way in the early going because we never had a team, and this city wanted a team so bad. So, I mean, in the real early going, we finally had a team, and Steve Berline was running out there and had this rookie, Tony Baselli, and you knew they weren't very good. Desmond Howard and Ernest Givens, and I knew Pete Mitchell was a tight end. The team wasn't great, but we had a team. So, you know what I mean? So I couldn't wait till the next Sunday. That's probably when I probably felt this the most, but I sure feel it now.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredibly exciting. That's where I am. It's not so much agonizing because I still am enjoying, the win Sunday and things like that. And,
agonizing is the wrong word. Eager,
but
ridiculously eager.
Yeah, I mean, it's should be hopefully if things go well, this will be the most fun season that we've ever had, and that's saying a lot because we have had some great times here as a franchise in the late '90s, and so it's a high bar, but it's one that appears to be in realistic reach for them if things break their way.
In 2017, it was like that because we couldn't wait to see what the defense could do each Sunday. Leonard Fournette, for sure, as far as offensively. But now it's what can Trevor Lawrence, Calvin Ridley, what can the offense, what is Doug Peterson or Press Taylor, what are they going to dial up? You're going to the bank on Sunday to see Trevor Lawrence in the offense. Of course, you want to see the defense play well, but that's the apple of your eye.
17 for me, it was great, but it was almost a little surreal. Like, I waited for it to end.
The shoe to drop?
Yeah, I did. Now, the 2 blowouts of the Steelers were awesome, but it was a very narrow win over the Bills here. You always wore – I don't want to say I didn't believe. Gosh, we were a bad call from being in the Super Bowl, and Hayes, the point you've made all along, might have won the Super Bowl because you'd have matched up well with that team, But something about this team, this feels like, honestly to me, this feels like – you're a Florida State fan in 93. You're a Florida fan in 96. You know you can throw it all over the place. You know you're more fun to watch than the other guys. You know you might have a better team than most of the other guys. I can't wait to go watch it happen. That's the best comparison for me. The Seminoles in 93 with Charlie Ward. The Gators with 96 with Werfel. The Jaguars in 2023 with Trevor. That for me is a guy watching games. You can't because it's going to be exciting. You're going to throw it all over the place. There's going to be points. There's going to be some dazzling plays from the quarterback. So we'll see. I want to keep it on the NFL after the break. What do the Jets do? Do they go get a quarterback? How good can the Jets be without Aaron Rodgers? Let's talk some NFL where we stand right now. This is 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
1010XL is your home for play-by-play on Bishop Kenny football.
I'm Coach Krause of the Bishop Kenny Crusaders. We're on the road on Friday night at Bishop Moore. You can hear the play-by-play live on 92.5 FM.
You've probably heard the saying, it's not how hard you get hit, it's whether or not you get back up. Well, I'm attorney Brett Hastings, and I have a saying of my own. If you get hit with a personal injury or wrongful death, hit back and fight to make them pay. At Hastings Injury Law, we have the experience you want if you or a loved one suffer a car or trucking accident or wrongful death. Just call 904-HIT-BACK and we'll help you get up and hit back. Office is Jacksonville.
Toilet or shower not draining? Water bill high? So many issues you want to cry? Call Mr. Rooter of Jacksonville. Have your number 2 business serviced by your number 1 plumber. Let us do your dirty work. Call us today.
Mr. Rooter. Sports injuries are a common issue for both adults and children. Dr. George Barry here, and as a specialist in orthopedic care, the team at Barry Orthopedics and Sports Medicine here in Jacksonville provides comprehensive diagnosis and treatments of all types of sports injuries. With additional training in sports medicine and more than 30 years of experience, the team is available to care for your entire family and help you have fun and stay active. Visit us today at BarryOrthopedics.com.
And don't forget to check out Breaking Bones Sunday morning, 7:30 on 1010XL.
Every high school football coach wants to talk to Hacker.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist, Friday Night Lights.
Hear highlights and comments from the winning coaches with Hacker and Andrew Gibson. Brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning on 1010XL.
Hey, folks, football is back. So is truck season. That makes sense. Football and trucks, you better believe it. Well, with a powerful Chevy Silverado, you can take on anything. Nimnick Chevrolet is proud to be Northeast Florida's Silverado truck headquarters. They've got the largest inventory on the ground, outstanding cash incentives, and that best price guarantee. And with nearly 200 Silverados in stock, your perfect truck is waiting for you right now at Nimnick Chevrolet. And this month, by the way, well-qualified buyers can get rates as low as 0% APR financing. That's right, 0% APR. Plus a $750 cash allowance and no payments for 90 days. Football's here. That means truck season is here, and the best place to get a truck is at Nimnick Chevrolet. Go get that Silverado right now. That's Nimnick. Your friends in the car business since 1941. Chevy. Find new roads.
Hey Jacksonville, this is 17-time PGA Tour winner Jim Furyk inviting you to join me and the legends of the PGA Tour for the 3rd annual Constellation Furyk and Friends presented by Circle K, October 2 through 8 at Timaquana Country Club. Public parking is free, along with complimentary tournament access for our military, courtesy of ViStar Credit Union. Go to Ticketmaster to get your tickets today, and if you're not traveling to London, but watch the Jags this fall, join us Sunday morning in the Publix Tailgate Village to catch the game on the big screen. For more information, visit ConstellationFurykandFriends.com.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season is finally here, and with that, hopefully comes cooler weather. And if you've been wanting to upgrade your outdoor living space and just haven't pulled the trigger, you should call the experts at Lifetime Enclosures right now. From glass lanais to screened-in enclosures, Lifetime Enclosures and Flooring is the best in the business. Give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Tell them Prosser sent you.
Hey folks, Mike Dempsey for Tire Outlet. Are you tired of overpaying for tires? Well, cruise into Tire Outlet for the best selection, best quality, and best prices on the tires you need to keep you and your family safe on the road. With over 40 years of experience and 15 locations across Florida, Tire Outlet is the brand you can trust to perform great service at a great price. Our expert technicians are ready to do the maintenance and repairs to keep your vehicle performing its best. Tire Outlet. Wholesale prices. Premium service.
Tire Outlet.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwoods. What is a gemologist?
Frank, that's a good question because gemologist is a generic title that can be used by anyone, whether they have any gemological training or not. There's also a graduate gemologist, which is somebody that's taken the gemology courses of the Gemological Institute of America and received a diploma. Then there's a certified gemologist of the American Gem Society. They've received the graduate gemologist diploma, have worked in the jewelry business for a minimum of 3 years, and are tested by examination once a year to re-win the certified gemologist title. There's one other aspect that certified gemologists have that others might or might not have, and that's the accredited gemological equipment to be able to make the right grading calls on diamonds and other gemstones. At Underwoods, we have an American Gem Society accredited gem laboratory that our certified gemologists work in, assuring you the quality and value you deserve.
That's Underwoods, Florida's longest-standing member of the American Gem Society in San Marco, Avondale, the Shops of Ponte Vedra, Underwood Jewelers.
Are you drowning in credit card debt? Want to get cash out of your home's equity? Loan Pronto can now do it in less than a week. Hey, it's Prosser here, and that's right. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit just got even faster. You can get $50,000, $100,000, or even $200,000 in as little as 5 days. And you don't even have to touch your primary mortgage, so you can keep that 3% rate intact. Just get the money you need and pay off all those credit cards, or get that home improvement project started. With this revolutionary program, you can access up to 90% of your home's value, and in most cases, there's no appraisal. Stop paying insane interest rates to the credit card companies and get tens or even hundreds of thousands in cash in as little as 5 days. Call Loan Pronto now for the even faster Equity Express line. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com or 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
This is Dr. Michael Iorio, internal medicine physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jaguars, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The Jaguars running back duo of Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne Jr. combined for nearly 100 yards and 2 touchdowns on Sunday against the Colts. Pride of the Jaguars, Fred Taylor, was a guest earlier today of XL Primetime and spoke about the Jaguars' 1-2 punch.
I think they complement each other well. They both ran hard downhill. They ran strong. They showed some good quicks in there. I think they made all of the right cuts. I know Travis, he looked really quick, broke a lot of tackles, ran with great shoulder lean, and I think Tank did the same thing. So I look forward to seeing this 1-2 punch take some pressure off of the passing game.
Fred Taylor earlier today on XL Primetime. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Frank, you're driving a Nimnick truck. How do you like it?
I love it. I always do love it. They do a great job taking care of it, too. Always a great truck, whether it's the GMC Sierra, which I drive,
okay,
or those terrific Silverados. They do a fantastic, the best place to get trucks, I promise you. Guys love trucks. It's a Nimnick.
That is correct. All right, Jets head coach Robert Saleh is meeting with the media right now. He, of course, did confirm that Aaron Rodgers did tear the ACL, but that we knew earlier today, and most of us figured that last night. When asked if they will add another quarterback, he says, quote, "I want to make it very clear, Zach's our quarterback," as in Zach Wilson. "We have a lot of faith in Zach. We're rolling with Zach and excited for him," end quote. Ian Rappaport said, though, that they will add another quarterback down the line. So, do we see Zach Wilson start for the Jets for the next few weeks?
Well, yes. He's going to start for the next few weeks. I don't think that's up for debate. So there's two directions, and I'm sure he's talking about it. One direction is go get the veteran backup that can be the support system, that can help him read defenses. Is it Case Keenum? Is it Colt McCoy? Is it Nick Foles, Mike Glennon, Chase Daniel? None of whom are going to start for the Jets. Okay, is it that group? Is it that group? Case Keenum, I think, if I wanted a backup quarterback, is a guy to consider. He's smart as heck. He's been around. But Colt McCoy and Chase Daniel are all kind of the same guy. Never really started. Mike Glennon and Nick Foles are old guys. Joe Flacco are old guys that started in the league that still have starter interest in them. So I don't know that it's them. And then the question, Hayes, is do you consider Carson Wentz or Matt Ryan who would come and be your starter? I don't think you do. Carson Wentz is the guy that's not too old yet. The rest of the potential starting guys are too old probably. Carson Wentz is the one guy that's physical, young enough, has done it enough. But I think he's scarred enough in the minds of many that you don't do it. So I'm guessing Zach Wilson is their quarterback, and they go bring in a veteran backup.
It's going to be a really painful stretch for whoever it is, whether it's Zach Wilson or a new quarterback, because this is the Jets' next 5 games. At Dallas, which is about the worst team you could see coming
How are they? Did they start out okay?
Then you host the Patriots, and Belichick is going to dissect Zach Wilson. Then you host the Chiefs in a game in which you're probably going to need to score in the high 20s to win, and that's giving the Jets defense a lot of credit. Then you go to Denver, who's got a very good defense. and then you host Philadelphia, who's got maybe the best roster in the NFL, and then you hit your bye week. So I think if I'm the Jets, I mean, obviously, you know what I'm doing. I would have called Tom Brady the second Aaron Rodgers was on the cart, and I would have said, what's it going to take? Ownership percentage.
Right on the cart? I mean, what you got now?
The cart.
Let him get out.
Yeah.
Don't even get to the hospital.
I would have put Aaron on the phone.
I was going to say, yeah,
and
you would have
said,
handed the
can
phone
you
to Aaron.
recruit Tom to
on the cart? You call
yes.
him. Okay.
And obviously, I think that's a Hail Mary, but you make the call. Tom says no, and then it's like, okay, well, where do you go from there? I honestly, I think.
What would you do, considering Tom Brady's probably not going to do it?
I would let Zach Wilson go through these next 5 games, because then I think you fully know, but then you're going to really know what you have. I would tell Zach Wilson, this is your last chance. I mean, I think we have confidence in you. We want you to succeed here, but you've got to now take it. You've been given a chance that you didn't think you might ever get again. You've got to go take advantage of it. Now, I don't think it's going to improve his play, but I would give him these 5 games. I think it's going to be a bloodbath, but I would give him these 5 games to see if he can change my mind. I mean, I don't really know that there's anything out there that's anything above serviceable. Matt Ryan has been terrible, and from seeing him in the broadcast booth last week, it looks like he's lost 25 pounds.
He's on the Andrew Luck diet.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's ready to take a hit at all, even though I know he said he's not retired and things like that, but I think that's just him trying to, make sure the Falcons pay him the money they owe him, or the Colts, I mean. So, I think in looking at it, I don't know that there's really much you can do. I mean, you've got a defense that can keep you in there. I wouldn't go get Wentz because I think he's just a basket case.
Yeah, his chance to be given this. By the way, this will prove how it's over for Carson Wentz. If ever there was a time to go get him, it's a pretty good team. It's a good defensive team. They've got a little energy. They're 1-0. If he was if he's the right guy, he'd be playing for somebody. But this is proof, because I don't think they even think about him.
Yeah, so I mean, I would call New Orleans and see, what the price would be on Jameis Winston. I certainly would call Indianapolis about Gardner Minshew, but I think that's your direction. You're probably going to go with, trying to make a trade for a player that shouldn't be overly costly, and could step in with a week or two of practice and play for you. But if I'm the Jets, look, you put the number 2 pick on this kid, and it's like, okay, he did have an offseason to learn from Aaron Rodgers. He was thrown in there last night, and while I don't think he was anything spectacular, you did manage to get a win with him. Now, that's because Garrett Wilson made one of the greatest catches we'll see this season. But still, I would say these 5 games are going to be really difficult anyway. Let's just hope that our defense can get us 2 of these wins. Maybe you beat the Patriots 10-7. Maybe somehow you go into Denver and win 13-10. And if that's the case, you're 3-3 going into your bye. And then maybe at that point, whatever veteran you've added, you switch to that player. But I for now, I would give Zach Wilson one more shot.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what they're going to do. But I would have to trade for Cooper Rush. Because when he started, he was 5-1, played fairly well. I'm not saying that I think he's going to be, I guess, probably like a 4th-round pick.
Does Dallas give him to you for a 4th-round pick?
I mean, they just got Trey Lance, so I feel like they're ready to wheel in.
Does Dallas give you? Let's say Lauren's right, and that they targeted Cooper Rush. Does Dallas do it for 4? Do you do a 4th-round pick, or would Dallas do it?
Well, they don't do it this week because they're playing Dallas.
Well,
but yeah, once you get beyond that,
after this week,
I would think Dallas would be satisfied with a 4th-round.
They did get to your point. They got Trey Lance, who you got to believe if you went and got him, he's ultimately going to be your backup. So that's a good question. Is you'd go get Cooper Rush and play him?
Well, Saul is saying it's not going to be a competition. I don't know.
But I'm asking what you would do.
But yeah, I would absolutely get Cooper Rush. I would let Zach Wilson start the next few weeks because he knows the system. Like Hayes said, he was learned under Aaron Rodgers. He knows the system. And then after the bye week, if things aren't going well, it's Cooper Rush's team assuming he plays well in practice.
That's a good call on Cooper Rush. I hadn't thought about that. I hadn't thought about really trading. If you traded for somebody, I'd probably trade for Jameis, a guy that's done it, or Jacoby Brissett, 2 guys who have done it. But Cooper Rush is intriguing because he might be one of those guys that's pretty good if he ever got to play. He's 5-1 as a starter. So he might be one of those guys that if he ever got to play might be pretty good. You
don't know, and I guess
But he might be.
I know enough to know Jameis
yeah.
Winston probably not.
Yeah. But Jameis, Jacoby Brissett, there's backups in the league who have been starters who were decent at a point. I got to tell you, if it was me, I would go get a really good veteran backup, probably Case Keenum, the guy that really has been a backup, maybe Foles, maybe someone that's smart, good in the room. But I would run with Wilson. He was the second overall pick. It's still only year 3, not year 8 for him. I would probably say, listen, you're the guy that's been with this team the whole time. You're the guy we have groomed you to be the backup guy. I would, and you made a good point. I didn't even think about that Dallas, KC, and Philly are 3 of the next 5 games, and Belichick. So I didn't think about that. But I would probably.
The Patriots, by the way, real fast, beat the Jets both times they played last year, and one time they only scored 3 points.
Yeah.
So to your point, Belichick is going to dice him.
But
up.
I mean, if ever you had a chance, Zach Wilson, they will be, but you can't be mad at Zach Wilson. Now, he didn't hurt Aaron Rodgers. He was happy to be the backup. They developed a bond. He was learning from him. I'd play him. By the way, I don't think he's very good, and I was wrong about that because I thought he'd be a decent player. I thought he'd wind up being. I thought he was the perfect Burrow mold, about the same size, more athletic than you think, had a toughness about him. I don't know if I never thought he'd be the disaster that he has been. Did you think he'd be any good, or are you not surprised?
Not really. I didn't like him coming out of BYU, but I'm surprised it's been this dreadful.
Yeah.
I remember in the draft process, Tony Romo was saying, "Oh, he reminds me of me," and things like that, and obviously that hasn't materialized. And
I thought there was a gap between our guy and him. I didn't think it was close, but I thought he'd be better. But again, here's the thing: based on what Robert Saleh said, he's going to have the chance to be better. He's going to have.
I mean, if you're Zach Wilson, this went in a way that's going to probably give you a starting job way faster than we ever thought, and maybe the last starting job.
Jags mess it up with Quincy Williams?
I mean, I don't know how he'd fit kind of now, but obviously he's a really good player.
I mean, they really liked him when they drafted him.
Yeah.
But he never could get any traction. He ran real fast, but never seemed to have instincts. Well, he got him the minute he got there, though, didn't he?
Yeah, it's a testament to Saleh and his staff because that was certainly a player that didn't make a lot of noise on the transaction wire when he was released and claimed. And he's turned into everything that the Jaguars saw, Dave Caldwell saw when they selected him surprisingly in the late 3rd round. But he's played great. Look, that's the thing. I mean, the Jets have an extraordinary defense. I mean, they don't need a player that has to put up 24 points consistently. They just need a quarterback that isn't going to hand games away. Unfortunately, I think Zach Wilson's going to hand games away.
We'll take a break. When we come back, Florida and Tennessee this week, one of the great college football rivalries of the 90s. It's never been much of a rivalry in any other decade. It wasn't before then because they never played or hardly ever played, and it hasn't been since then. But the Florida-Tennessee rivalry in the 90s was one for the ages. Can these two coaches bring it back? That's our discussion point after this.
A quarter is worth 25 cents. A fifth quarter is priceless. Hacker, Leon Searcy, and Coach Campo bring you the window world of Northeast Florida fifth quarter from 9 Ball Heaven. Brought to you by Osteen, Volvo, and Volkswagen, and Dr. George Bari and Bari Orthopedics.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
To get this thing unwrapped here. Duval!
Praz, what in the world are you doing working on your Duval?
That's right, Dan. I really identify with Duval.
You live in St. John's County, knucklehead.
I mean the Duval sub, the Dailies Dash Duval. Turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheeses. Lettuce, tomato, crispy and fresh, like me. I'm sure there's a Dailies Dash sub that sums you up.
The boss.
Because, of course.
Oven roasted beef, Munster cheese, roasted mushrooms, caramelized onions. It's the boss of all subs. Only available for me.
That's just not true.
What do you mean? I walked in the other day, screamed, "You know it!" and said, "A boss for a boss."
Well, no matter who you are, there is a Dailies Dash sandwich or sub for you.
Go find yours. They may even make you a boss.
I'm sure they will, because it is Daly's Dash.
Where more is better.
And you got that right.
Welcome to Otterson Wealth Advisors of Raymond James, where our team is not just a team, it's a vast resource of financial knowledge, with each member bringing their unique expertise to your financial success.
Meet Kristen Vanez, a certified financial planner professional and certified divorce financial analyst, dedicated to helping you navigate life's transitions with financial confidence. Ready to begin to your journey? Visit OttersonAdvisors.com. Otterson Wealth Advisors, your goals, our expertise. Raymond James Associates, Inc., member New York Stock Exchange, SIPC.
All year long you'll be singing our song. Stay cooler with Bueller. At the head of our class we make it happen fast. Stay cooler with Bueller. For heating and air we always play fair. We make the difference 'cause we really care. Bueller Air. Stay cooler with Bueller.
If you've got bad shoulders, knees, elbows, got sprain, strain, or pain in your muscles, PRPrelief.com, PRPrelief.com, best priced PRPrelief.com.
Are you an experienced automotive technician and tired of working for employers who put profit over people? Then come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road and get trained on how to diagnose and rebuild today's complex transmissions. See how we're different. Get traction on your career and come to Action.
Equal opportunity employer.
Lauren Brooks here for Hodges Mazda. Why buy from Hodges Mazda at the Avenues? Because they strive to ensure a satisfying and comfortable car buying experience. That's why the sales staff doesn't work on commission, allowing Hodges Mazda to put your best interests first. Whether you're looking for a brand new Mazda or a pre-owned vehicle, Hodges Mazda has a large selection to help you choose from. And every vehicle purchased from Hodges Mazda comes with 2 years free maintenance and free car washes for life. Now that is peace of mind. So visit Hodges Mazda today or shop online at HodgesMazda.com.
Hey Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
What's your name? Leonard Skinnard. Live in concert. Second show added by popular demand. October 5th at the St. Augustine Amphitheater. Celebrating 50 years of Leonard Skinnard. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
The flagship station of the Jacksonville Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Money Pages is a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. With 20 years of helping local businesses grow, Money Pages is Jacksonville's trusted multimedia leader. Money Pages has extensive experience in magazine publishing, direct mail, digital marketing, and branding. The Money Pages complete marketing system provides advertisers with integrated fulfillment to promote your business with multiple marketing channels. To learn more about advertising locally with a brand who knows Jacksonville, visit moneypages.com.
Universal Roof and Contracting presents the Offensive Player of the Game. Universal Roof and Contracting. The difference is universal.
Calvin Ridley had a monster outing for the Jags in Indy. The wideout finished the contest with 8 receptions for 101 yards and added a touchdown in what was a stellar debut with his new team. Ridley riddled the defense all game long and will look to do more of the same next week. Calvin Ridley is your Universal Roof and Contracting Offensive Player of the Game.
Make sure your home is protected this hurricane season by scheduling a complimentary roof inspection with Universal Roof and Contracting. And right now, get 10% off roof replacement and repairs. The first 50 callers will save an additional $500 on a full roof replacement. And this offer expires September 30th and restrictions apply. Universal Roof and Contracting, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. License number CCC 1330747, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com.
The
This is Hayes Carline for Island Wing Company, located on Southside near Tinseltown, and our new location at Bartram Park in St. Johns County. 2 great locations offering the ultimate sports bar experience where you can stick to healthy options. Island Wing Company has a wide selection of fryer-free food. The wings are baked, not fried, with so many awesome flavors to choose from. You can also get delicious salmon, tuna, flatbreads, and tacos. With tons of spectacular TVs, dog-friendly patios, and 2 daily happy hours, Island Wings can't be beat.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by Awaken 180. A classic SEC rivalry gets renewed on Saturday in Gainesville.
It's a big week. It's Tennessee week. I think we've done a ton relative to educating our players about the rivalry. Do you understand that this was the game at one point in time in college football? We do have some veteran players that understand that have played in the game. But it's time for SEC play, and certainly this is an Eastern Division opponent as well. So there's magnitude of that. I think it's a big weekend for Gator Nation.
Billy Napier and the Gators host 11th-ranked Tennessee, Saturday in the Swamp at 7 o'clock. It's 90 degrees at 4 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Frank Frangie, Hayes Carline, Lauren Brooks, RJ Saunders with you on this Nimnick Tuesday. Thanks to my friends at the Nimnick family of dealerships. Billy Nimnick, Lee Nimnick, always a Nimnick nearby when you're at one of those fantastic car dealerships. Nimnick Buick GMC is on Phillips Highway. Nimnick Chevrolet is on Cassett right there at Park. Florida and Tennessee get together. The Tennessee Volunteers have not won in Gainesville since 2003. They have the better team. They're ranked 11th. Florida is extremely unranked. You can be unranked or extremely unranked, right?
That's true.
They're extremely unranked.
They are not receiving any votes.
I
don't believe.
But I'll be very interested to see, because my question is, can these 2 coaches bring them back together? It was, Johnny Majors and Spurrier were together in the 90s, in 90, and then Fulmer kind of backstabbed Majors and got the gig in 92. But then it was Fulmer, Spurrier. But Fulmer was sort of a little bit what Napier is, in that he recruiter guy, CEO guy, overseer, and Heupel was more what Spurrier was, offensive play caller, called his own plays. They beat people with a passing game that other people couldn't defend. Can they bring it back? Can these 2 guys, can we look up in 2 years, and this is 4 playing 8?
Well, they can't bring it back, but it's not in their control.
Yeah.
It's not going to be a rivalry, I don't know, in the new format. Now
good point.
Now they play next year.
Yeah, good.
But I don't.
Okay, good.
I
point.
don't think they
Yeah, that's
have
you're
committed
right.
to continuing the rivalry.
No,
So
and that's a different part of the paradigm,
which is sad.
Right.
I mean, I think they should always play.
Right.
And
you're right. They're not going to play every year, so I guess that's the answer.
Hopefully they will.
Right.
But they haven't. The league hasn't said that they will.
Yeah.
If they play every year, yeah, they could both come back.
Can they both be top 10 programs? That's the question.
I think it's a harder road for Tennessee, but he's much further down the path than Napier. I mean, Heupel just won the Orange Bowl and just, did beat Alabama to snap a long losing skid. Florida's a difficult putt for Tennessee. The series is 31-21 Florida, but it's somewhat misleading because Tennessee won the first 10 games in this rivalry from 1916 through 1953. So really, if you take that away, which, again, we're talking 70, 80 years ago.
Right. Yeah, pre-SEC.
So now Florida is 31 and basically 11 against Tennessee since they basically started trying in football.
Yeah.
So, that's why I think that gives me some sense of, well, yeah, I mean, the history says that Florida's done very well in this series. They've won basically 75% of the games played since 1954. So, yeah, I mean, I think that obviously gives Billy Napier, there's something to that. But Heupel is further down the path. So it's I think it's interesting. Can they both do it? Yeah. I mean, Billy Napier right now has, again, the third-ranked class. They just had a defensive tackle decommit yesterday out of Georgia, but it wasn't a big enough of a player. He wasn't a blue chip. That may change, but as of now, he isn't. So, even though he decommitted, it kept Florida at 3. Well, Tennessee 7. That's the key for Heupel, is can he win his fair share of blue chip recruiting battles? Obviously, right now he is. He did get a 5-star quarterback in the last class. So, yeah, I mean, I think Josh Heupel can certainly keep Tennessee at an 8 to 9 win level where maybe every other year they're in double-digit wins. So, yeah, I mean, I'm a believer in Josh Heupel that he's not going to all of a sudden become a 7-5 coach. Billy Napier, I mean, this Saturday is it's sort of a show-me Saturday for Billy Napier, I think. I mean, I have a lot of confidence in his program. I have a lot of confidence in his recruiting. I have zero confidence that he can manage this game well enough to beat a quality Tennessee team. Now, maybe he'll prove me wrong, but yes is the answer I would give you, but I'm more convinced that Josh Heupel's the real deal than I am Billy Napier is.
And I guess my question would be, are we jumping a little ahead with Josh Heupel? I think Hendon Hooker was an excellent quarterback and a lot of the reason that Tennessee had success last year. Frank, I know you watched a little bit of Tennessee Austin Peay. Joe Milton did not play all that great this past Saturday. Yes, he played really well against Virginia. But I don't know that Tennessee is, yes, they're ranked 11th. I don't know that they're back yet, though. I want to see him be able to have more success than just one season with a 6-year quarterback. And granted, he has another 6-year quarterback. But I guess I'm just not there yet that Tennessee is definitely headed in the same direction that it once was in the 90s.
Well, I hear you. This season will tell us that. They don't have to go 10 or 11 wins, but if they're anything fewer than 9 wins, then last year looks like an outlier. They have to. I mean, 8-4 in this day and age is ordinary. Florida would love to be 8-4 for this season because they've been less than ordinary. But Tennessee sent the message last year that there's something special about their team. Florida is 17-2 against Tennessee since 2004. 17-2. You realize that? 17-2 since 2004.
They've only lost to Tennessee 6 times total since 1993.
Right, that's right.
That's a long time ago now.
Yeah, 6 times. 6 times since
30 years.
Yeah, 36 times. So 24-6.
I mean, I think that's like the first year of the Clinton administration.
Yeah, that's right. No, that's right. So that's how that's how long it's been. So I do think that stuff matters to a point. I think at some point that doesn't mean Florida's going to win this year. I've got a tough time picking them this year too, but it does mean that there's something to that if you play the game if you play the game if the game stays close. I think Billy Napier and Josh Heupel are both going to have top 10 teams, though. I guess that's kind of where I'm going with the topic. And you made a great point. Doesn't matter as far as the rivalry because they're not going to play each other every year, which I think is awful.
Well, hopefully they do. But
yeah, and I'll say what I said all along. The first year Florida and Tennessee don't play, the SEC's getting it wrong. The very first year, and I've said that from the get-go, the very first year Florida and Tennessee don't play, then the SEC's got it wrong. Doesn't matter what else you do. But having said that, I find myself thinking that they're both going to be top 10 programs. I really do believe Billy Napier is going to build them into a top-notch program. I don't know if they're winning national titles or SECs, but I think he will build them into, at the very least, what Penn State is right now. What's Penn State ranked?
7th, I think, last time I checked.
I believe at the very least he will create that. Now, Penn State hadn't won a title. Penn State hadn't won a Big Ten title. Penn State hadn't won a national title because they may not have been as good as the Resistance. As good as James Franklin has made them, that program is yet to be as good as Ohio State and Michigan. As good as he's made them. Well, as good as Napier might make them, same thing. They may never get to where they're as good as Alabama and Georgia. I hope they do. I'm not sure that he will. But I think he'll get them to where Penn State is now. I think he will make them a top 10 program on a regular basis, and then we'll see if he can take the next step. I truly believe that because of how he recruits.
Yeah, and I mean, right now, at least it looks like everyone's chasing Georgia, that we can no longer put Alabama in the same category, which does help, I think, a team like Florida to be able to recruit the same types of players that Alabama was recruiting. I wonder, how would y'all answer this question? Napier and Heupel bringing the rivalry back, assuming that they continue playing,
Right.
versus Norvell and Cristobal, Florida State, Miami getting back to where it once was? Who do you have more confidence in?
That's a really good question. I have most confidence in Heupel and Norvell.
So Florida State, Tennessee.
That's why I have the most confidence. It's a great question. I think Florida, Tennessee will be good together faster than FSU, Miami, because I'm still not convinced Miami's coming back.
Okay.
So I love the question, though. Same question for you?
It is a good question because I'm going to go the other way. I'd say FSU and Miami. I mean, again, the resistance is very weak in the ACC, particularly if Clemson's getting ready to hit the brakes like it looks like they are. And, I was really impressed with Miami. It's one game, but, I mean, they thrashed Texas A&M. And so, that's a big win for Mario Cristobal. And, Mike Norvell might win the national championship this year. So, for me, it's easier to see Florida State and Miami because they're recruiting well. They're not playing the schedule that Florida and Tennessee are going to play in the new SEC. So, to me, it's FSU and Miami.
Yeah, I think right now that's how I would answer the question, too, is FSU and Miami. But certainly if Napier can beat Heupel on Saturday, it looks like his program is getting back on track. And Heupel, we'll see. Like I said, I need to see him do it for more than just one season. But he does have some really good athletes. I mean, here's another question. Does Florida have a position group that's better than Tennessee right now?
It's a really good question, Laura. I don't know if I've seen them enough. I probably haven't seen either team enough to know that.
Because, I think your first answer would be running backs, but Tennessee has really good running backs.
I haven't seen them enough to know. I haven't seen, since Tennessee lost all those receivers in the draft, I haven't seen their current configuration against Douglas and Pearsall and Trey Wilson, who I think will ultimately be good. So I don't know. I don't know the answer. That's how the world's different. 20 years ago, we know that answer like the back of our hand. But I just don't. I'll be honest. I don't pretend to know Florida's personnel very well. In this portal era and in this fire the coach every 2-3 years era, between new coach who runs off players and gets new players and the portal which chases off players left and right, it's harder than ever to know a college team, isn't it? Now FSU knows their team because he got them all to come back. But it's harder than that. Think about it. It just is.
That's the thing. I mean, Florida's best players are true freshmen in a lot of areas. So while I wouldn't trade like defensive line rooms, I wouldn't trade the defensive backs. It's hard because it's a lot of that's just based on how good I think they're going to be like next year and the year after. So for Saturday's game, I'd probably take Florida's backs, but it's hard to say because if I say Florida's defensive line and secondary, I'm banking on a lot of kids that are going to be playing in their first SEC game.
Right, absolutely. And like I said, my first thought is Florida's running backs, but with Jabari Small and Squirrel White, they're really good.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
They've got good players. There's no question about it. It's going to be a fun series. We'll talk later in the week about the game itself. Ooh, boy, what a fun one that'll be. I you're there. I'm jealous already. I thought about it. If I wasn't calling the game, if it was a 4 o'clock, if it was a 4:15, I would do it. Because I've talked about it with you every year. I tell Hayes I'm going to go to this one, that one. I never wind up going, but I thought about this one, but I probably won't. We'll take a break. When we come back, I'm going to talk about Monday Night Football and what it is, what it was, and what it can become. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
Now, the Lamb Rant, brought to you by the best bet card rooms of Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine.
It's difficult to win games in the NFL. Gimmies are few and far between. Many Jaguar fans may be surprised their team had to rally in the fourth quarter, thank you defense, to defeat the lightly regarded Colts in Indianapolis. No surprise, really. NFL games are usually decided by a single digit. I believe the confusion is because many of us are both college and NFL fans. On Saturday, especially early in the season, we're used to games being decided by absurdly lopsided margins. Last Saturday, games involving top 25 teams, there were victory margins. Now listen to this: 62, 56, 53, 49, 48, 46, 42, 35. You get my point. There were 3 upsets and 2 great games. Number 12, Utah scored 2 touchdowns in the last 90 seconds to beat Baylor, and UNC needed 2 overtimes to whip Appalachian State. A typical football weekend.
Did you know the 2023 Honda CR-V Hybrid never needs to be plugged in? The onboard system charges the batteries for you. When you think Honda, think hybrid. Good for the environment, great for your budget. Visit your local Honda dealer to experience the CR-V of the future today.
Hi, I'm Frank Frangie. Looking for a remix of our original sandwich? Well, the new Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich is a flavorful spin on a familiar favorite. Created with Chick-fil-A filet, a drizzle of honey, pickled jalapenos, and a spread of savory pimento cheese, the new Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich combines your favorite flavors with a new twist. Available for a limited time only. So stop by and enjoy one today.
It's storm season, and JEA is committed to keeping you informed. In the event of a storm, we'll text and email you about the status of your services. We use Facebook and Twitter to post real-time updates. Our live outage map on JEA.com lets you track restoration progress. And as crews work to restore services, our storm outreach team will be in local neighborhoods to answer your questions. Because as your community-owned utility, JEA is here to keep you safe and connected. Your community, your utility.
Hey Jacksonville, this is 17-time PGA Tour winner Jim Furyk inviting you to join me and the legends of the PGA Tour for the 3rd annual Constellation Furyk & Friends presented by Circle K, October 2 through 8 at Timaquana Country Club. Public parking is free, along with complimentary tournament access for our military, courtesy of ViStar Credit Union. Go to Ticketmaster to get your tickets today, and if you're not traveling to London, but watch the Jags this fall, join us Sunday morning in the Publix Tailgate Village to catch the game on the big screen. For more information, visit ConstellationFurykandFriends.com.
This is Hayes Carline for QC Kinetics, and I can't make it any simpler. QC Kinetics can change your life, and you can live again without that chronic joint pain and without drugs or surgery. QC Kinetics is advanced regenerative medicine. They take your body's own concentrated healing properties and put them right into your joint to restore and repair that damaged tissue that's causing all of that horrible pain. You can see them in Mandarin or Ponte Vedra, those locations. You need to call for a free consultation at 904-274-5522. If you have constant pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or back, you need to call and get that free consultation from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics today. Call QC Kinetics and see how the latest advances in precision regenerative medicine can attack your pain and bring you lasting relief. Now is the best time to get started. Call 904-274-5522. That's 904-274-5522.
Listen for stories on Florida State's quest for glory.
The Seminole Report takes I-10 West to bring you the latest from the city of Garnet and Gold.
Brought to you by your local Ag Pro, your home team on 1010XL.
Racetrack is celebrating professional drivers all September with special offers at your local Pritchard Travel Center. Use your Racetrack Rewards app to earn double points on in-store purchases. Fuel up during Truck Driver Appreciation Week with $4 meal deals, a free Nathan's hot dog, and in-store giveaways. 1010XL will be live at the Pritchard store this Thursday from noon to 3. Stop by and show your CDL to win gift cards worth up to $500. Visit rttruckdrivers.com. Racetrack, whatever gets you going.
Hey sports fans, this is Hayes Carline from MyBookie. Look, as a bettor, you demand perfection, and MyBookie delivers. NFL, college football, and a brand new cash-out system. It gives you options to bet and win all season long. If the first 2 legs of your parlay hit, cash out early and use the funds on another bet, or let it ride for a chance at a bigger payday. Join the MyBookie family for an entire season filled with odds boosts, free bets, and super contests. This is the best time of year to get your bets in and start the football season off with some winners. To get started, go to mybookie.ag now and register for an account free. When you're ready to make your first deposit, just use promo code 1010XL to grab a welcome bonus on the house. That's promo code 1010XL to claim your deposit bonus and for a limited time, a free chip to use in the MyBookie casino. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie.
You probably remember your first fender bender, but very few can tell the story of their crash with a semi-truck. That's because an 18-wheeler weighs over 20 times more than the average car. You might see it coming, but you probably won't remember much after impact. you need experience on your side. Our forensic crash reconstruction team and truck accident specialists know how to recover black box data and build a case that hits back hard. Your consultation is free. Farah and Farah, Jacksonville.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE, the medical providers at Prime Men's Medical Center offer breakthrough treatments that eliminate problems in the bedroom without pain or surgery. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Simovitz. Prime Men's Medical Center offers the most advanced treatments to eliminate ED and PE. 98% of men experience instant results on their first office visit. They're even lasting 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Don't just take our word for it. Call Prime Men's Medical Center now for our limited time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. You'll see instant results right in the office. You'll even get a gift that enhances your performance in the bedroom. All this, worth hundreds of dollars, is free if you call now. 904-664-8217. 904-664-8217. That's 904-664-8217.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnik Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnik, your friends in the car business since 1941.
You know that music on a Monday night. This is how it
We got a double header. How about that? Double header on Monday night.
I know. By the way, I think they should do that all the time, not just once a year.
Yeah.
I really do. Remember Howard's open? Remember Howard at halftime?
I don't remember Howard.
You don't at all,
I
really?
don't,
Yeah, okay. Oh, it was the greatest. Howard was a great. Now, every year they do a poll on most liked sportscasters, and Howard would win. And then they do a poll on most hated sportscasters, and Howard would win.
Yeah.
Everybody either loved him or didn't. I love this music. Monday Night Football was such a big deal. You waited all week long for it. It was the best game of the weekend. You couldn't wait to watch it. Your teams always hoped they got on it. Here's one for you. Did you know that back in the day, that Duke, which was the football, looked like the football does now, but they put white stripes on the Monday Night Football because you could play it at night so people could see it at night. So if you look at some old Monday Night Football games, it had stripes on it like the college ball. Did you? I mean, only on Monday nights. Yeah, they used to have stripes on it on Monday night. So you'd see it looked like college ball, and it didn't last forever. But
yeah.
So I used to love it. The first year it was Keith Jackson, Don Meredith, and Cosell, and then Frank Gifford took over the second year and was the play-by-play guy, and it was just such a big deal. I thought a few things. Number one, ESPN now is finally to the point that it is as recognized as a network. Agree? Would you agree with that?
Yes.
It's as there's no difference anymore. Over the
air,
sports
realm, it's probably more recognized than a network.
Well, it is, but I mean, there was always a drop off. Now there still may be a drop off in national viewers, but as far as recognized to people who would watch the game, there's no hotels now that don't have ESPN. There's no.
If you're staying in one that doesn't, check out.
Yeah, right. Check out fast. Well, or you're checking.
You may not survive the night.
Either that, or you're checking out in an hour anyway. So, but the bottom line is the hotels.
Why would you be doing that?
Yeah, the hotels all have ESPN now. Okay, so every hotel's got ESPN. ESPN is recognized. One of the best things ESPN did is they put the college football playoff on ESPN. Up until then, all championship games always went to the network, no matter how much the cable outfit had put on the big games, the games that mattered. The championship game was always on the network, but it's not anymore. And I think the other thing they did, and I really believe this, is they went and got Buck and Aikman. And I think getting Buck and Aikman is, they realistically, in terms of most heritaged, recognizable broadcast teams, that means two people. That means whether it's baseball, NBA, college, hockey, I don't know as well, football, I would say right now, Buck and Aikman are the preeminent one. Nance and Romo are good, but they haven't been together as long. Tirico just went in for the first year with Collinsworth. It is the preeminent broadcast team. Baseball keeps changing its guys out. Buck left. Now Joe Davis is the baseball guy, and he's with Smoltz for now. And Mike Breen has been with Van Gundy and Mark Jackson, but I think they just let one of them go. Van Gundy go out there, or both of them let go.
Yeah.
They both let go. That's right, RJ. So they're both gone. So the preeminent broadcast team, guy and his partner in all of sports right now is Buck and Aikman.
It really is amazing that they're going to eclipse Summerall and Madden this season. Joe Buck had a funny line about that. He was being interviewed, and he was like, well, yeah, assuming ESPN doesn't fire us, because you never know. So I thought that was pretty hilarious. But
unless you're at home watching after being fired by ESPN, like Susie Colbert or something.
Yeah, but that's hard to believe. I mean, Summerall and Madden, that's like my entire childhood and then some, and it's hard to believe that they've been together for a longer period. And yeah, I think that has certainly helped. Again, I think the biggest thing that's going to help is the flexing, because there's just nothing worse. And Sunday Night Football was able to get that many years ago, and it kept them consistent as the game you have to watch. And over the years, there were just too many Monday Night Football games where it was very easy for the casual fan to say, nah, not interested in that. But yeah, I remember when Monday Night Football was by far the biggest game of the week. I mean, I was 9 when the Dolphins beat the undefeated Bears in 1985 in December. And again, this is 10 years before we had the Jaguars, so I grew up a Dolphins fan. And, I mean, that was a gigantic game. The Dolphins were 8-4, so they were pretty good. And everybody thought Chicago was going to go undefeated. I mean, they were so dominant. And, of course, the Dolphins are trying to protect that for the 72 Dolphins. And they win an unbelievable game. I remember, we talk about Kirby, Dar, fan, club, like signs, that stick out.
Greatest banner of
I
all
remember
time. Thanks for pointing it out.
I remember somebody holding up a sign, and this one isn't as nearly as creative as that one, but it said the Bears will never see 16-0. And it just resonated, being 9 years old in the moment and the hype leading up to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was one of the first real, massive moments in pro football for me. And so Monday Night Football has always had a special place in my heart, and it is good to see that it's getting prioritized more, and it's going to hopefully week in and week out really have exciting matchups, and certainly will be protected in weeks 12 through 17 of having games that really don't factor.
Did people dislike Joe Buck more in baseball than football?
I think what it was, I don't think it was that, because I always liked Buck. I never disliked him. He had become a bit of a caricature of himself. Remember he did the show, he did the HBO show, and he'd come off as snarky, and people saw a personality that they didn't like. So I don't think the sport mattered. That's my take on it. The thing is, he's a really good guy. He's a nice guy. I've met him a few times. I don't know him well, but I've met him a couple times, and he's a really, really nice guy. But I would think, to Lauren's question, I think more than anything else, it's he came off as a snarky young guy that lived on his dad's coattails. I think that's probably what it was.
I think it's that part. I think it's the fact that a lot of people viewed him as being born on third base, being handed, a elite spotlight because of how wonderful his dad was in the business. And so I think there was some resentment, for him there. I don't really remember him much as a young broadcaster, so I can't speak to the snarky. He certainly has that kind of personality, but it's evolved now to where, he takes so many shots at himself. He makes fun of himself in such a great way that, I really like him. I think he's certainly proven that he's talented, that it didn't have anything to do with who his dad was. It might have had something to do with him getting the chance, but he certainly has kicked the door in terms of how good he is. I've never been a huge Aikman guy. I don't think he's bad.
You don't like Aikman,
and he does avoid saying things that I think are just so pointlessly obvious that a lot of guys make the mistake of. But I don't know. Aikman, to me, he also doesn't give me a lot that I feel like is, oh, wow, that's really insightful. He's just sort of there. I can tolerate him. Right. But again, I'm not really enthusiastic about any of the broadcasters, and I don't feel negatively towards them either.
It's not your thing, yeah. What about you?
I like them, but commentators are never going to make me watch a game I wasn't going to watch or mute a game just because I don't like that. Like it doesn't affect me that positively or that negatively. Would you say that Fowler and Herbstreit are the second tier?
Yeah, you know, the second, they're probably the second most longest
Second
running
best,
together. Yeah. It's interesting. I love them. But I'm a big Fowler and Herbstreit fan. I'm a big fan of both. But Fowler, maybe because he was the game day guy and the tennis guy before he was a play-by-play guy, has never really, and I like him as a play-by-play guy. I think he's very good. But he never became Keith Jackson. Keith Jackson was the preeminent college football play-by-play guy. Would you agree with that?
By a mile.
And he never became that. So, but yeah, maybe next in line. Maybe
Vern
next
Lundquist second after Keith Jackson, or no?
No, I like Vern, but no, I would say Chris Schenkel before that. I would say there's probably some others.
I really liked Ron Franklin.
I loved Ron Franklin. Ron Franklin was very good. Vern was on the list.
Vern was good.
Yeah, he'd be on the list. But back to Monday night for a second. Howard, what did you, when I say Howard Cosell, what do you think? Your dad. What does your dad tell you about?
Yeah,
Howard Cosell?
I mean, honestly, not much. I know that I've seen the clips of him as the host of Saturday Night Live.
Right.
I've seen him a lot more in like pop culture. Obviously in Ali. I think John Voight plays him in Ali. Really, I've heard a lot of bad stories, like sports broadcasters that knew him.
Right.
And have
He's a bad guy.
An unflattering story about him, for you, that kind of thing. Yeah. I really can't speak at all to him as a broadcaster. Now, obviously, I've heard the clips of him announcing the tragic news that John Lennon was shot and killed.
He broke that on Monday Night Football.
So I've seen sort of the essence of him, but don't feel like I really ever got a sense of him. I don't even know when he passed away or when he
1995.
95, and I wonder when he retired because I don't think he did. I'm trying to think when.
I don't. You don't remember. It started in 70, is when they did it, and he had to do it for 10, 15 years. That's why I'm surprised you don't remember him at all.
I don't think he did like the 85 Monday Night Football season.
I don't know. Lauren, what's your remembrance of not remembrance? What's your vision of Howard Cosell if anybody mentions him?
Just that he was a broadcaster from before I paid much attention. Yeah,
he was pompous as hell.
Okay,
he was very demonstrative as hell. He was the first guy to ever do the highlights, and I think you know this, Ace. When Chris Berman would go, he could go all the way. That was what he was doing is he was mimicking Cosell. Same thing when he was the Raiders. That was all. That was all Berman paying homage to Cosell.
Right.
But I thought there was something spectacular. I really did about Cosell, Gifford, and Don Meredith. And I will tell you, Cosell's the one that did the feature on Monday Night Football about Robert Irsay landing the helicopter here. And I remember Cosell going on Monday Night Football, and that was 80. He was still doing it then, so I can remember.
He finished Monday Night Football in 1983 was his last season.
83. So you just missed him then. Because you were 8 or 9 years old, so you just missed it.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. So there's this great 80s movie called Better Off Dead. It's this fun, teen comedy starring John Cusack. And anyway, so one of the characters in this movie is this foreign exchange student who only knows English because he watched Howard Cosell. So he speaks exactly like Howard Cosell.
That's really
and it's
funny.
Hilarious in the 2 or 3 scenes that he's in. It's great. It's actually the same actor that plays the villain in Karate Kid 2 when he's in Okinawa.
Not Zabka.
Not Zabka.
Okay.
The greatest villain of all time.
Of all time.
This is
of all time.
Yeah, this is when he goes to Okinawa with Mr. Miyagi, the villain in that movie. But anyway, so honestly, when I saw Better Off Dead, I really didn't know who Howard Cosell. It was still funny because the voice is funny, but it was only after getting more into sports and the history of it that you have even more of an appreciation for what a comedic gem that performance is.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you, Cosell was most probably known for boxing. By the way, he and Ali became good buddies, rivals and buddies, and he was the preeminent boxing play-by-play guy. The Down Goes Frazier was him. You know that, right?
Yes.
Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. That was Howard Cosell. So he was He was a legendary guy. Don Meredith was most known for that than he ever was playing. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, yeah.
I would say he was more known for that.
I mean, I can't speak for Gifford as a player. I know he was a great one. But, I mean, to me, the broadcasting was greater than the player from somebody who
no question
didn't see him play.
And again, I'm not old enough to have remembered Gifford playing. I do remember a little bit of Meredith right at the end. And honestly, I think Frank Gifford's more known for being Kathy Lee's husband. I mean, because she was on the morning show for him. Yeah, I think that's how I think that's his claim to fame, despite all the football he did.
But I'm reading about the boxing match that he denounced between Ray Mancini and Duke Kim.
Yeah, he criticized boxing.
He did because Kim died.
The guy
I
died,
didn't realize that.
Yeah, Boom Boom Mancini killed Dooku Kim in the ring. That's correct. But I didn't remember the details of that. But he was known. He was the great boxing announcer during the Ali era, and I mean the great boxing announcer. So anyway, so Monday Night Football. I hope it rallies. I think it's important. I wish it went back to having the best game. I think it'd be better if the best game of the year or the best game of the week was always on Monday night, and you had to wait the whole time. I'd rather see that than Sunday night. I think it's fine that they have Sunday Night Football, but for me, I think the best game of the week should be Monday night, and I hope we go back to that.
Yeah, and there's a chance. I mean, I think their lineup this year is every bit as strong as the Sunday night lineup. So I think they've really made it a priority. And again, we've got a doubleheader this Monday, and it's two good divisional games.
Is Fowler the backup team? I think Fowler and Herbstreit.
I think they are
because I think it's Fowler and Herbstreit.
It is because I heard somebody saying, we were talking about Herbstreit's crazy schedule on Saturday,
right?
Because game day's in Boulder, right? It's the Colorado State game. I think that's in Boulder. And then I think they're hosting. And then he's got to fly to Gainesville for the Florida-Tennessee game. And then Monday he's got to be – I don't know if he's doing Saints-Panthers or Browns-Steelers, but I guess he's doing Saints-Panthers.
Yeah.
Would be my guess.
That's what I would think.
Because I would think Buck and Aikman have the traditional 8:15 slot.
Because it's on ABC.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, which is Browns-Steelers. But two really good games.
Yeah, you better believe it is. Monday Night Football is an important thing. I'm going to keep it on the NFL one more segment. Chiefs, Bills, Bengals. Which one of them will come back? Will they all come back? Let's talk about it. Stay with us.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
He was one of the nicest guys in football. Now he's one of the nicest guys on 1010XL.
Okay, yeah.
Catch David Garrard Mondays from 10 to noon on Jaguars Today.
On 1010XL.
Brought to you by your local Napa Auto Care Centers.
Football is back, and so is truck season. Frank Frangie here. Nimnick Chevrolet is proud to be Northeast Florida's Silverado truck headquarters. With nearly 200 Silverados in stock, your perfect truck is waiting for you at Nimnick Chevrolet. This month, well-qualified buyers can get rates as low as 0% APR financing, plus $750 cash allowance with no payments for 90 days on select Silverado 1500 pickup. Visit NimnickChevy.com or visit Nimnick at the corner of Park and Cassidy. Chevy, find new roads.
There are three certainties in life: death, taxes, and if you stay in your home long enough, a new roof. Pick it here for our friends at Lockhart Roofing. Nobody better in Jacksonville. How do I know? They are a local certified Master Elite contractor, and that means they have a GAF Master Elite warranty. That's the best in the roofing industry. In this day and age, don't settle for cheaper discount roofers. Lockhart Roofing has been here for decades. They aren't going anywhere. Call my friends at Lockhart Roofing, 994-3851. That's 994-3851. Lockhart Roofing, Jacksonville's best for Jacksonville people.
This is Hayes Carline for Kingfish Pest Control, my personal choice for home pest defense, and according to the reviews, the absolute best service, quality, and value in North Florida. You too can bid farewell to bothersome pests and invite serenity into your home. Just go to jaguars.com/sweepstakes and enter the SWAT That Kit contest for a chance to win the ultimate perimeter pest defense program from Kingfish Pest Control, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Malfunctions in your electrical panel can lead to hazards like fire or power outages, leaving your home at risk. So leave it to the pros and Mr. Sparky.
888-8-SPARKY.
Your on-time electrician, Mr. Sparky of the First Coast.
Did you know that all graduates of Local 234's apprenticeship program are licensed journeymen? That means all plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, and HVAC techs will have hundreds of hours of experience and have passed the Jacksonville City Licensed Journeyman exam. They're the best trained and safest skilled tradespeople in the industry. Don't leave yourself exposed to inadequate workmanship or even danger. Always hire a licensed journeyman. Local 234. Make the right connection. Equal opportunity employer.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On September 12, 1993, Miami Dolphins quarterback Dan Marino becomes the fourth player in NFL history to pass for 40,000 yards.
At Ratify Credit Union, we know that a dream home is about more than location and square footage. It's about fulfilling the dream of homeownership and all the dreaming that takes place inside. Building a nursery, starting a business, throwing a graduation party. That's why at Ratify, we're more than just home lenders. We're the fulfiller of dreams. With home and home equity loans that prove dream homes do come true. Ratify Credit Union. Make waves. Ratify Credit Union is an equal housing lender insured by NCUA.
Brian Wall here. Would you take your paycheck, go to the bank, cash it, and then simply throw it up in the air? I didn't think so. But in a way, over the years, that is exactly what you're doing if you have old or builder-grade windows in your home. Even if you have a brand new home, those windows are not the best windows you can have to save on your energy bills. Window World has sold millions of replacement windows to homeowners like you, and Window World's customer satisfaction is the highest in the business. Please check Window World out yourself and save on your new windows and on your energy bills. Compare with other companies and you'll see Window World is simply the best for less. It's up to you. You can call Window World and get a free estimate, get the best guarantee in the window replacement business, save money on your new windows, and save more on your energy bills. Call Window World today at 904-443-7001 or go online to windowworldneflorida.com. Thank you for your business.
Window World also offers energy-efficient doors.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I'm here with Paige, a new friend and the owner of Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Thanks to Awaken 180, I've now dropped 16 pounds in just 2 weeks, but it's not about the number. Paige, after 9 years, what continues to inspire you?
It's so inspiring to hear people change their lives and to be a part of that every day. The more people who can transform their lives and feel better and be more confident and be happier and see that change come through in every aspect of their life, not just in their weight or how they look or the clothes that they wear, but in their career and in their family and how they inspire their kids. That's why we do this.
Thanks, Paige. Changing lives without medications, the gym, or fasting. If you're ready to make a 180 with your health, choose the solution for weight loss. Awaken 180 Weight Loss. Call 844-346-1800. That's 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy. Thanks to the coaches and the schools who believe in our team at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
This is head coach Ferland Dormery of Trinity Christian Academy High School. Our athletic program selected Southeast Orthopedic Specialists to work with our state championship football team and will continue to use them. We recommend Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
It's time to play Fix That Air Conditioning Problem. What do you do when your AC stops working? Contestant 1?
Put a box fan in the window?
No, that doesn't really fix the problem. Contestant 2? That's right, just call the duck.
Don't let AC problems linger. Call the pros at Duck Duck Air Conditioning. Commercial, residential, any HVAC issue or project.
When you're stuck, call the duck. 904-862-6769.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
The 1-0 Jaguars now turn their attention to Week 2 in a matchup against the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. Jaguars linebacker Josh Allen on the matchup against Kansas City.
It's Patrick Mahomes, and, if Kelsey plays or not, they're a heck of a team. We're going to have to be real disciplined on our eyes this week, and we're going to have to keep him in the pocket as well. He's another guy that can scramble. He's a little wiggly, so he can run left, run right, back it up, go forward. So just to be able to stay relentless and continue to grow on that. This is a game that we must win, playoff game for us.
Jaguars linebacker Josh Allen on the matchup against the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars update.
XL is presented by Farah and Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on the Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
By the way, we were heavy Jaguars yesterday, so we didn't get to this. How was the Inglewood unveiling?
You know what? It was really nice, as a matter of fact. It was a really nice thing. They did a great job. The field's gorgeous. Daniel Murphy was there. It was good to see him. Rasheed Matthews, who's such a good dude. It was good to see him. Some of the former coaches were there. It was really nice. I thought they did a really, really nice job. And so it was important to them. And so it was, last Friday night we had a wonderful time.
Good. All right, of the teams that we thought would be 1-0 to this point in the season, which of those are you most concerned about? Which ones will bounce back?
What do you say? You go ahead, Hayes. The Chiefs did fine, but is it an automatic that these three teams, despite the struggles, will all win 10, 11, 12 games in your mind?
I think so. 12 games might be tough just because of the divisions that they're in. Again, Cincinnati still has 2 games against Baltimore, another game against Cleveland, 2 against Pittsburgh. We'll see about, what the Jets become, but Buffalo still has to face the Jets once. And basically they just lost to Zach Wilson because Aaron Rodgers was knocked out super early, and you still have the Patriots and Dolphins twice. So I think they'll be fine, but the records may not be as strong as they've been just because of the pass that they have to take. Kansas City, I think, they were down there to, 2 of their best 3 players in the loss to Detroit. So we'll know more, obviously, about them by 4 o'clock on Sunday afternoon here. But of those, I would say Chiefs are definitely number 1 in my opinion. Burrow is a concern because I don't know how well he can move right now. And Cavs don't tend to get much better during the year. So if that's something that really is stubborn, that could really affect how elite they are offensively. They'll still be a good team, and I think what we saw Sunday will be a bit of a mirage, but it will limit how effective Burrow can be. And, Josh Allen, it's just, what's going on with the mistakes? You would think that he would have really made it a priority to play a very clean game after hearing that all off season about the red zone turnovers, and to go out there and be that careless with the ball, I think is really disappointing. So I'd say Chiefs, Bengals, and then Bills in ranking them, but my guess is all 3 are still easily going to make the tournament.
I think the Chiefs and Bengals will be okay. I'm not sure about the Bills. I'm not sure. Number one, I had a few doubts going in. Watching last night, that was and again, and in fairness now, I didn't watch how badly the Bengals might have played, but I don't know. I think I'm not sure the Bills are all that. I'm not sure, Hayes. They lost last night to Zach Wilson and the Jets, and they lost the game they came to their credit. They were about to lose in regulation, and he brought them back, and Josh Allen brought him back for a field goal. But make no mistake about it, it was a 50-yarder that hit the upright. It wasn't. He didn't bring him all the way down the field for a chip shot. So and
then basically went 3-and-out, which
and
leads
had the ball,
to the punt.
Right. They had the ball to have a chance to score first. I don't trust the Bills. I'm not sure the Bills are a great team.
Yeah, I think all 3 of those teams left you with questions. Can the Chiefs manage without Kelsey moving forward? If for some reason he got injured again, re-injured the knee that he hyperextended recently, do they have an answer if he's not able to play for a while?
Yeah.
And then do the Bills, can Josh Allen not turn the ball over that many times? That's a big question. They finally seem to have a run game. That was I think the fascinating part for me. They're finally able to run the ball, and then the quarterback is just still turning it over time and time again. And the Bengals have so many weapons, but if the quarterback's not playing well because he's limited, then I don't know how well they'll play. All of these teams certainly have plenty of season left to play, but of the 3, I'd be probably the most concerned about the Bills.
I'll say this about the AFC. We all talked about how much better the AFC is than the NFC in large part because of all those quarterbacks. Well, here's some reality. The Steelers don't look like they're very good, and I warned y'all about that. I've read all this stuff. I never bought the Steelers, and it was only one game, but it was a home game that they lost by 3 touchdowns. They got walloped at home.
To Brock Purdy, who just came back.
Right, yeah, so I've never bought them.
Although they do have Christian McCaffrey.
All 3 teams in the division, in our division, lost. The Chiefs, the Bengals, and the Bills lost. I'm not sure the AFC resistance, and again, I'm overreacting to 1 week, and we love to overreact after 1 week, and I will acknowledge that this is a first week's overreaction. But we're in talk radio. We're supposed to talk about what happened the first week. I'm not sure the AFC. I don't know that I'll be shocked if it's not. I mean, I don't think the teams in the AFC South are very good. I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers are very good. I think the Bills are off a little bit. We'll see.
Yeah, I still think the Ravens, are going to be very difficult. I'm curious. I think the Dolphins, if Tua is healthy, are dangerous. I still wonder if, when we get to Halloween, if he'll still be playing. And, I think the Chargers have a lot of talent. They just have no killer instinct. I mean, and this isn't a –
something's missing.
I mean, and it's been that way for 25 years.
Something's missing.
I mean, it's inexplicable. There's a lot of talent in the AFC. I'm Pittsburgh, we'll see, if they're able to find a groove, but maybe Cleveland, ends up being way better than what we thought. I mean, defensively, to do what they did against Cincinnati is really impressive. If Deshaun Watson's able to, find a close version of his Houston form, maybe Cleveland will be better. I still think the AFC is going to be head and shoulders the tougher conference, but yeah, I mean, obviously the heavyweights, other than the Jaguars, really stubbed their toe, because who would have seen Kansas City, Cincinnati, and Buffalo all starting 0-3?
And on the Jaguars schedule,
collectively,
yeah, on the Jaguars schedule, you think, okay, the Falcons game at home in London is the easier one, and then the Bills certainly the more difficult one. I'm, again, overreacting to week 1, but now it looks like, well, the Falcons actually might be more challenging than we thought, and the Bills, if he keeps turning the ball over like that, that may be an easier game.
And that's what the league does. That's why there's so many non-repeat teams in the playoffs, because team that looks like it was really good last December is not necessarily just as good the next October. And that's what the league is, and that's one of the things we love about it, and it's one of the things that makes it fantastic. But it's hard to predict.
Yeah, there's great parity. Okay, for Sunday, how many penalties will be called on Jawan Taylor if he's not lined up correctly?
I think you're going to see it. I'd put the over-under at 2.5. I mean,
it's a thing now.
It's a thing. I was listening to an interview this morning with Dean Blandino, and I mean, who used to be the head of officiating. I mean, he basically was like, it's inexplicable. I mean, it was inexplicable what happened the other night. That basically it was like on the second play, he's lined up in the backfield. And there's usually a warning given to the player and the coach, and then you throw the flag. And he's like, I understand it's the first game. The league certainly doesn't want 45 penalties being called, and maybe that factored in. But there's no doubt that they allowed an infraction to go on the whole game. And as we know, they've allowed that infraction to go on for the previous 4 years, really. So I think it will be tighter. One point that I thought was really interesting that I'm curious to get Doug's thoughts on. So he's tipping the play by how he lines up. Mm-hmm. So do you want him to continue to cheat if you're the opposing coach because he's giving you the tip? Or would you rather him be on the line of scrimmage, play legally, and not really know as much what's coming?
Great question. You'd love to know what's coming, but if he gets a false start, it's easier for him to block your guy. Yeah, I think I'd probably rather him have to play by the rules. It's a great question. What's your answer?
I think in this matchup, I'd rather him play on the line because I am always expecting pass. Right. Isaiah Pacheco is not beating the Jaguars on Sunday.
Yeah. You would think it's going to be a lot of fun, so we'll see. All right, Lauren's got the hour off. She gets ready for Helmets and Heels. Hayes and RJ and I are back after this. We'll talk a little more football, some college stuff, and a whole lot more. Tony Barnhart joins us. Talk about college football, our Woolsey Morecambe National College Football Report with my pal Tony Barnhart. That is next on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
I thought the guys battled for 4 quarters. They played hard. They played tough.
Now fires toward the end zone, back in the end zone, caught for the touchdown! Calvin Ridley, his first score!
I had a couple explosive plays there and thought he really did a good job.
Not a surprise to me. He played great.
The Jags have stuffed them on 4th down for the 3rd time today.
Defense really kept us in the game.
Creating takeaways, they did that.
Intercepted by Tyson Campbell.
We pick each other up. We feed off one another. That's what makes teams great, and we got to continue to do that.
Next up, the Kansas City Chiefs.
We're going in the right direction, and I want to play a meaningful game.
Sunday at 1 on the home of the Jaguars, 1010XL.
Certainly facing challenging economic times. I can't speak for all of us. But for me, comforting to know my money is in good hands with ITP Partners. Ticket here for ITP Partners. Jacksonville guys taking care of my Jacksonville money. I'll admit it, I don't understand a ton about the economy. Higher interest rates, 401ks. But I do know as I move closer to retirement, I continue to watch my money grow. Thanks to Chris Bryan, Jeff Hartman, Reagan Wright, Dan Abel, and Reed Wingate. Get in the game, guys. ITP Partners. Always there to help. For more info, Chris at ITPPartners.com or call 904-312-9751.
Ackerman Urology is now servicing the Beaches community. If you have elevated PSA, prostate, bladder, or kidney issues, plan to see the experts at Ackerman Urology right away at the new location on Atlantic and Hodges Boulevard.
Racetrack is celebrating professional drivers all September with special offers at your local Pritchard Travel Center. Use your Racetrack Rewards app to earn double points on in-store purchases. Fuel up during Truck Driver Appreciation Week with $4 meal deals, a free Nathan's hot dog, and in-store giveaways. 1010XL will be live at the Pritchard store this Thursday from noon to 3. Stop by and show your CDL to win gift cards worth up to $500. Visit rttruckdrivers.com. Racetrack, whatever gets you going.
Now the Performance Painting High Performance Play of the Game. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Jamal Agnew's nickname should be ATM. Why? Because he's money whenever the Jags need him. In the 4th quarter, Agnew will return a 44-yard punt for 48 yards, giving Jacksonville great field position and an opportunity to regain the lead in the game's closing moments. Agnew knew what the team needed, and he came through in the clutch. The Agnew punt return is your Performance Painting Play of the Game.
Does your home or building need painting? For over 20 years, Performance Painting has had the privilege of preserving many of Jacksonville's most prominent buildings. That said, we feel like we're just getting started. I'm Jason Parker, and our team thrives on preparing, protecting, and preserving the homes, businesses, and public buildings that make up our local landscape. Contact us today to put our years of experience to work for you. Performance Painting. Prepare, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
With roofers knocking on your door every week after a storm, you may not know who to trust with a home improvement repair. You need a company that's fully licensed and doing it the right way. All Pro Roofing will professionally assess your needed repairs for roofs, windows, doors, and exteriors. If you think you may need repairs after a storm, call All Pro Roofing Windows and Exteriors. allproroofingllc.com. License number CCC 1327056, CBC 060138.
What's your name? Leonard Skinnard. Live in concert. Second show added by popular demand. October 5th at the St. Augustine Amphitheater. Celebrating 50 years of Leonard Skinnard. On sale now at Ticketmaster.com.
Home of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Hey, sports fans, it's Hayes Carline from MyBookie. Football is back, and so is winning season at MyBookie, and it's time to get fired up and get in on the action. NFL, college ball, and a brand new cash-out system. If the first 2 legs of your parlay hit, you can cash out early and use the funds on another bet or let it ride for the chance at a bigger payday. Go to mybookie.ag and register for a free account. Use promo code 1010XL to grab a welcome bonus. Let's take a look at some updated MyBookie lines. The Jaguars are a 2.5-point home underdog to the Chiefs on Sunday. The Gators are also a home dog, getting 7 points against the Vols. FSU is a 27.5-point favorite at Boston College. Sign up with that promo code 1010XL to claim your deposit bonus. You'll also get a free chip to use in the MyBookie Casino. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie, and don't forget that promo code 1010XL.
At
ABBQ, they are turning up the heat this football season like no other. Picture this, 15 massive TVs strategically placed throughout the restaurant so you won't miss a single touchdown. Step into their huge outdoor area where the excitement of the game meets the fresh air. Here's the kicker, and this is a big one for me. They got the sound on blast throughout the restaurant for the whole game. Your destination for mouth-watering barbecue and an unforgettable game day. ABBQ, meet and drink with us.
The rainy season is here, and protecting your property from flooding is vital. Duck Duck Rooter is your storm drain maintenance experts. Call us today at 904-862-6769 to schedule your VACCON appointment. That's 904-862-6769.
Active and pain-free. That's the ticket. Dr. George Barry here, and I know that's the goal of every patient I see. They want the best possible care so they can go back to enjoying life. That could be pickup basketball, golf, tennis, running, or just working out. It all requires you to be as healthy as you can be. If joint pain is taking its toll on your active lifestyle, come see me at Barry Orthopedics. We have locations all over Jacksonville and can diagnose and treat even the most severe joint pain. A homegrown Jacksonville practice. Find out more at BarryOrthopedics.com.
This is Hayes Carline for First Florida Credit Union. I bank with First Florida Credit Union because I trust them. I can always count on them when it comes to the vast services they provide. They were fantastic in setting up my car loan. I've never had a bad experience, and I've banked with them for years. I trust First Florida Credit Union. I go to the branch off 210 in St. Johns County and the New Durban location, but they have 10 branches in the Jacksonville area. You need to be banking with First Florida Credit Union. They're enriching people every day. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity Lender.
This is your Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Local Sports Update. I'm Andrew Gibson for 1010XL. This update brought to you by your First Coast Honda dealers. Mario Cristobal has the Miami Hurricanes in the top 25 this week after their big win over 23rd-ranked Texas A&M.
A massive step for the program. We knew that. I mean, we knew they're a really good football team. I mean, they've recruited better than anybody in the country over the last 3 years. So they're loaded to the gills. But we work hard, we practice hard, we train hard, we prepare hard. We felt that if we eliminated mistakes, we'd eventually take over the game, and we did. We are nowhere near arrived, nowhere near where we want to be. But today was a big step in the direction we want to go, and just extremely proud of everybody in that locker room.
Cristobal has the Canes ranked 22nd this week in the AP poll. It's 89 degrees at 5 o'clock. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air Conditioning. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Let's ring up another guest on the All-Pro Roofing phone line. Time now for the National College Football Report on the Frangie Show. Brought to you by the law firm of Woolsey Morcom.
It is time for the National College Football Report. We thank our friends from Woolsey Morcom, Frank Frangie, and Hayes Carline. And one of my all-time buddies in the business is my friend Tony Barnhart, who checks in right now. Tony, how are you, brother? Good to talk to you.
Frank, we're still here. Can you believe it?
I can, man. And
After 800 years in the business, we're still here.
And I'm right with you, bro. I hear you. We've done a lot in the business together, you and me. So that's exactly right. Boy, what a crazy start to the college football weekend already. I don't even know where to start with you, but I'm going to start here. In your wildest, because I didn't, in your wildest, did you think Deion Sanders in Colorado would take college football by storm this way and this soon? Because I really didn't.
Absolutely not. He put 78 new players on the roster, completely rebuilt it, and that is not a recipe for success. But I will say this. To your listeners who haven't seen it, Prime Video did a 3-part special on Deion Sanders at his time at Jackson State. It's fascinating stuff, and if you watch it, it'll make your appreciation for Colorado even greater.
Yeah, absolutely, Tony. This is Hayes Carline. Great to talk with you again. I'm curious to get your thoughts on Georgia. Obviously, they haven't really been tested yet. But what have been your early impressions of the two-time defending champion as they get ready to host South Carolina?
They're pretty good. As you sit there and watch them, do they have areas where they need to strengthen, and does a quarterback need to play better? He's going to, and I think Georgia's – I'm sitting here looking, I picked them to win the national championship again this year. And somebody said, well, why did you do that? Because the odds are against it. Yeah, the odds are against it, but have you seen their schedule? Okay, have you seen and with the player in their roster? And so I will say this: with South Carolina coming, they finally play somebody of significance, an SEC game. I'll be anxious to see how they play on Saturday against South Carolina. I mean, they're going to win the game. Don't get me wrong, but I'm anxious to see how they play.
Tony, you know that program really well. Our friend Greg McGarrity's with us here every Thursday, and Greg obviously ran that program for the longest time. So we're surrounded by a lot of people that really know Georgia football. Jeff Dantzler joins us from time to time. But what's the mood? I used to ask Spurrier this and Urban this. When you're beating everybody all the time and winning the SEC every year, do you get complacent? Do you worry about complacency? Do you worry about outside influences, which certainly happened during the Urban years? What is the setting there in Georgia? Is it all still good? Do they have to fight the complacency thing? How's Kirby deal with all that?
Frank, I think you always have to fight the complacency thing. When you're successful, it's going to be a part of your mindset. And so what you've got to do is you've got to be on guard for it. Kirby Smart's done a lot of things to address that issue with his team, but it'll be something they have to deal with while they're on this nice streak here. And nobody ever handles it perfectly, but I think Georgia's so far so good. But again, it's early.
Tony, what do you make of Billy Napier and the Gators?
I think they're going to be fine. You know, they don't have the roster they need right now. They don't have the skill level that they need right now. But I've told people from the beginning, I think Billy Napier is a very good coach, and given time, he's going to get there. Florida has done what they needed to do on the facilities end of things. I thought that was a big component that had to be addressed, and it has been. And so now, is this going to be the year for the Gators? No, this is not going to be the year for the Gators. They'll have to play really, really hard in every game they play. But I think if people will be patient, they will be rewarded.
You know what's interesting, Tony Barnhart with us. It's interesting about Florida. There's different models now to be good. There's the Tennessee model where you play really fast on offensively, and your offense is better than some people think. There's the Mike Norvell FSU model where right now you own the portal and you're the best transfer school in the country. Mm-hmm. And then there's still the Alabama-Georgia model, which is the best one, and that's get all the good players out of high school. And that's what Napier's trying to do. Do you see Nick and Kirby in him at all? Because that's why they hired him. And no one's Nick and Kirby. Yeah. Nick and Kirby's got a bunch of rings, but do you see that that model with him?
Yes, and there's nothing that beats. Listen, there are different ways to go about it, but the best way, as you just said, Frank, and I agree with, the best way is to go out and get the very best players you can get, because that way you know them well, you develop them, and you sort of have an ownership of them, and so now still the portal is a very useful tool for depth issues, sometimes needing a quarterback, needing something to help at particular issues. But I believe, and I can be proven wrong, and have been proven wrong many times. I just don't think it's not a great way to make a living year in and year out. Now you'll get something good will happen to you, but I don't think you can consistently build your team around the portal.
You know, it's interesting. Dabo got really criticized for refusing to take anybody out of the portal.
Yeah.
What Alabama? Number one, what do you think about that? But number two, do Alabama and Georgia have many portal guys? I mean, they don't have to, right? I mean, and they're hardly any, right?
Right, and the reason they don't have many portal guys is they've got really, really good depth. What Saban has done and what Kirby is doing is real simple. You recruit the best players you can get, but when if you have a weakness in your roster, you can go out and address that weakness quickly, and that's the advantage the portal gives. Dabo was just being stubborn. Okay, Dabo was saying, "I'm not going to take any players off the portal." Well, that's not. You don't go in the other extreme either. You use the portal. The smart coaches in our history, Frank, have always used the rules more effectively than other coaches have done it. They know how to take the rules as they exist and use them to their advantage. So Dabo wasn't doing anybody any favors when he wouldn't take transfer guys, because if there's a transfer guy, a running back, a wide receiver, a quarterback that's going to help you, of course you take him, and you don't be stubborn about it. And he was stubborn about it.
Yeah, no doubt. Tony, Tennessee wins the Orange Bowl last year, had a great year. Do you feel like the Vols are now back, or do you feel like you need to see a little bit more before anointing them?
I think this season is going to tell us that. Okay, last year they had a wonderful team, but now with Joe Milton, the new quarterback, who's very, very skilled, very, very talented. But my question about Joe Milton has always been, can he make all the throws that Josh Heupel wants a quarterback to make? So far, so good. But let's see how they play on Saturday in a little bit different atmosphere.
What is your gut on that game? Well, I mean, I think Tennessee's going to beat Florida. I think Florida's a year away from being able to compete in a game like that. Yet I think they're going to show up. I think it's my gut tells me it's a late third quarter, maybe early fourth quarter game. What you got on that game?
I think it'll be a tough game on both sides. There's just too much. There's too much history there, and there's too much on the line. And you know, and Billy would love to get that kind of signature win. You know, there's a win. It's funny when coaches go through. There is always a win where the crowd, where his fans and his players go, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. I watched Mark Richt at Georgia go through it for about a year and a half. He finally picked up a big win at Tennessee in the hobnail boot game. You know, people said, okay, this guy knows what he's doing. And that's where Billy Napier's trying to go right now.
Do you remember where you and I were in the hobnail boot game?
Hobnail boot. We were at Baton Rouge, were we not?
Florida LSU. And I was standing right next Hayes. I was standing right next to Tony when they threw the pass. When he threw the pass to Ron Haynes, Tony and I were sitting there in that LSU press box. Couldn't believe it. Remember very well.
And I called Munson the next week. I said, "What in the heck was that?" Although I didn't say heck. He said, "I don't know. It just came from somewhere. I didn't know what the hell a hobnail boot was." Furman Fisher, my mentor, my longtime late columnist of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, called Munson on that Sunday and told him exactly what a hobnail boot was. It was a boot that telephone pole guys or tree guys would use to climb right up the pole, and it had spikes in it, and that's what a hobnail boot was.
That's awesome.
I had no idea at all.
That's fantastic.
That really is. That's great stuff. Florida State's obviously been sizzling. Can the Seminoles compete for the national championship?
Based on what I saw against LSU, absolutely. You're talking about incredible quarterback, just does a tremendous job. Receivers they pick transfer portal. Here's your story. They pick up a wide receiver from Michigan State, and now he is lighting it up. And they already had some good receivers on that team. So, they can. And, okay, they play Clemson, not this Saturday, but next Saturday at Death Valley. Monster football game for both of those teams.
No question about it. Final thing, Tony, we'll let you go. Tell me about your thoughts on where we're headed with college football. Are you bothered with all the conference realignment? Are we headed to two major conferences and nobody else? How do you feel about it, and what's the end game here?
College football has always adjusted. We are going through an incredible period of change now between the transfer portal and NIL and the 12-team playoff that comes next year. But you know what? College football is so good and so strong, even us adults can't mess it up. And college football is going to be fine. I wish we had gotten a handle on NIL before it started, and had a set of rules that everybody would adhere to. But we don't have that now, and I don't know when we're going to get there. 12-team playoff is going to be awesome. I mean, it is going to be totally awesome because now more people have access. And think about the teams that are going to be able to host a playoff game on their campus. How cool is that going to be?
It's really cool, no question about it. Tony Barnhart, the great Tony Barnhart. Hey, you got a book out about your high school days. Tell us about that.
The 19 of Green. And what that stands for is the 19. That's how many players we had on our team. I played on the first ever integrated football team at my high school. Went to Greene County High School in Greensboro, Georgia. When you're on I-20 going to Augusta, when you get halfway there, that's where you jump off. And it was an incredible experience. There were 19 players from the integrated schools. There are 15 of us still alive. I interviewed everybody, and teachers and coaches just about what the year was about, and it was a very stressful time for our country because, this won't surprise you, Frank, but there were people back then who didn't like the idea of black children and white children playing football or anything else together, and it was a difficult time. But we all look back on it now and say, boy, weren't we lucky to go through that.
Yeah. How do people get it, Tony? How do you get the book?
The book is being published by the University of Georgia Press. Will be out on October 15th. You can get it on Amazon. Matter of fact, you can go on Amazon now and put in the 19 of green, and you can get it at a very nice discount if you'd like to pre-order.
Awesome stuff. And if you wrote it, I know it'll be good. Tony Barnhart, check it in. Talking college football those. Tony, thanks, buddy. Good talking to you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All right. Tony Barnhart, that is the Woolsey Morecambe National College Football Report. He's about as good as it gets.
Oh, I mean, he's on the Mount Rushmore of
He is.
college football journalists of all time. I mean, he is Mr. College Football.
He and that's what he's called, and that is what he is. And so you're exactly right about that. When the hobnail boot play happened, Tony and I are standing next to each other in the Baton Rouge press box in 2001, and that's when Florida went up and down the field on LSU. Beat them 40-16 or something like that. Rex Grossman had 5 touchdowns. Remember that game? Up and down the field on LSU. And Tony and I are standing right at I think Georgia was a noon game, and I think LSU Florida was the 3:30 or 2:30 Central, and we were standing right by the TV, ready to go get our seats to watch this game. And at the time, I want to say Tony's daughter was going to Georgia. Tony's a Georgia grad, and I want to say Tony's daughter was going to Georgia. And when Veron Hayes caught that pass from David Green and he beat him with a hobnail boot, the look on Tony's face, red, excited. It was a magical moment watching it with him.
Yeah.
My moment is I watched the hobnail boot play with Tony Barnhart.
Right.
Which is cool stuff.
That is.
Back in a moment. This is 1010 XL 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
He was one of the nicest guys in football. Now he's one of the nicest guys on 1010XL.
Okay, yeah.
Catch David Garrard Mondays from 10 to noon on Jaguars Today.
On 1010XL.
Brought to you by your local Napa Auto Care Centers.
Here's Linda Beaver.
Hey everyone, it's football season and we wanted to go to the drawing board to make this year's predictions. Let's compare our 2 long-haired blonde all-stars. Most touchdowns, best pricing in the market, most passing yards, pays the most for your trade, most receptions, free oil changes with every purchase, Super Bowl champion, wow customer service. I think we can make all this happen. Come see Beaver Toyota in St. Augustine or Beaver Chevrolet in Jacksonville, where you can score big all season long.
Frank Frangie here. Do you find yourself straining to catch every word, missing out on the sweet sounds of life? Then you need to go to see Jerry Howard at Ponte Vedra Hearing Associates. His team will assess your hearing needs with a free screening and recommend a personalized solution. Ponte Vedra Hearing Associates offers professional quality hearing health care with the most competitive pricing. Call 404-5108. That's 404-5108 or visit PonteVedraHearing.com today.
Hey guys, Hicken here. It's hot. The oven is on and it ain't getting any cooler. Unless you stay cooler with Bueller. Bueller Air, still locally owned and still treat their growing customer base like they're part of the family. Go ahead and Google them yourself. Bueller Air, B-U-E-H-L-E-R. You won't find better rated air conditioning company in town. I use them, so I already know. Like I said, it's getting hotter than ever outside, so stay cooler with Bueller.
Bueller Air, stay cooler with Bueller.
Now, the Tire Outlet Drive of the Game. Tire Outlet, wholesale prices, premium service.
Although facing a deficit in the final minutes of the ball game, Jacksonville remained poised and showcased grace under pressure. Trevor Lawrence led the Jags on a 10-play, 46-yard drive, capped off by a Tank Bigsby touchdown that would put the Jaguars on top by 3 with 5:14 left in regulation. The 5-minute, 32-second drive is your Tire Outlet Drive of the Game.
Is your vehicle in need of some TLC? Bring it to the experts at Tire Outlet. With over 40 years of experience in 15 locations across Florida, Tire Outlet is the brand you can trust. Our certified technicians do the job right to get you in and out in no time flat. Hurry in for great deals on tires and automotive service. We offer free tire rotations, free brake inspections, rebate offers on brand name tires, and a legendary price match guarantee on every set of brand new tires. Tire Outlet, wholesale prices, premium service.
If you need an insurance agent, I'll recommend the best guy in town, State Farm agent Craig Dewhurst. Call him at 940-9740. Really good guy, really good agent. Life insurance, homeowners, automotive, you name it, he'll handle it for you. Tell him what you need. He'll assess your whole situation. What kind of coverage do you need? How much coverage? What should your deductible be? What do you make and how does it fit your cost and your rates? You will love dealing with Craig. What a nice guy he is and how he'll help you get the right answers. The best in the business. Craig Dewhurst from State Farm, 940-9740.
If you're looking for exterior solutions that provide you reliability and durability, it's time to call Armor Guard Exteriors. Whether you need seamless gutters or gutter protection, hurricane products, impact windows, glass lanais, or retractable awnings and screens, we've got you covered. Call My Home Team today for your 5-star experience at 904-906-8669.
Armor Guard Exteriors, committed to quality, and that's a promise.
Hey folks, you know you want shark coatings, and the time is now. So close your eyes and let's imagine your garage. Wait, if you're driving, please don't close your eyes. Just wait till you get home. The rest of you see those cracks, the stains? It looks dark, dull, and dreary. It's nothing you're proud of. It's your house junk drawer. Now, see your floor with shark coatings. It's bright, it's durable, it's fresh. Since it's non-porous, it will be so much easier to clean. Don't imagine your garage, driveway, porch, or pool deck this way. Get with shark coatings and have a brand new space with new possibilities.
Join XL Primetime live at the new John Smith Subs on Hodges and JTB this Friday from noon to 3. Treat yourself to lunch and enter for a free game day tailgate subs package. Friday at John Smith Subs.
Mike Dempsey here. Football is back, and there's no better way to get in on the action than with Underdog Fantasy and their pick'em game. Just pick between 2 to 5 players, select whether they'll go higher or lower on one of their stats, then do what you usually spend kickoff night doing, watching the game. You can win up to 20 times your money in a single game by going 5 for 5. It's a fantasy game, but you can win real money. And it's fun and completely legal in Florida. So head over to their easy-to-use mobile app or website. Sign up with promo code 1010XL, and not only will Underdog double your first deposit of up to $100, they'll also have a mystery special pick live in their Pick'em lobby for new customers. Remember, that's Underdog Fantasy. Sign up with promo code 1010XL and make your first deposit of $10 or more to get that deposit doubled and find your special pick higher than 1/2 yard in the Pick'em lobby. You must be 18 or older and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-522-4700 or visit ncpgambling.org.
Jaguars football is officially back. Be there for our highly anticipated 2023 home opener Sunday, September 17th, when your AFC South champs take on the Kansas City Chiefs. Kickoff is at 1, so be sure to grab your gear and help us teal out the stands. Lock in your seats now at jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We can't wait to see you back at the bank.
The next time you have an orthopedic injury, call Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. That's what we do. I'm Bob Arablo, president of Your Jacksonville Icemen. We've been using them to take care of our athletes, and you can rely on them to take care of yours.
This is Dr. George Acevedo of Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. Thanks to all of the athletes who ask us to help them get back on their feet.
Relieve pain and get back to life. SOS. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnick Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnick, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Big game in town, have you heard?
I have.
Have you heard?
I can't wait.
Do you have an NFL schedule like on your refrigerator?
I do, actually.
You'd have it right on the
my
refrigerator.
cousin Juliet. Yeah, she always sends me.
So right there on the fridge,
That's
right?
Right there on the fridge.
And you look at the Chiefs are coming to town this week. It's like this Sunday. Yeah. Have you heard?
I have. This is a big one.
I'm so excited about this game. So will you go early? So again, your schedule. Head to Gainesville, 3:00 Eastern.
Correct.
Get there at 4:47 parked. Walk in, say hello to Mark Long.
Right.
Grab your press seat at 5:18.
Probably, yeah.
Teams are not warming up yet. Stretching, maybe. The kickers. We have kickers?
I think by that point,
Kickers?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Gators and Vols. Okay.
Yep. All blue.
All blue. They weren't in the all blue, right?
Well, they're telling fans to wear blue, which they always kind of do anyway.
Yeah, I heard Billy Napier just put out the uniform combination for the next 12 years. Okay, I didn't know if you know that, but in 2031 they're wearing white and orange on the road at LSU.
Okay,
yeah. So, so you'll be there. Then you got to right after the game do an instant reaction right after the game.
Right.
The good thing is you're working, so the instant reaction will be sober, which is good
for once.
So it won't be as good. But and then you'll head home back to Nocatee, Florida.
That's correct.
And so get back at 1:18.
I would probably a little later than that. I would think, but probably usually last season it was usually around 2.
Okay, so you get home at 2. You're on the air at 8 from Tailgaters.
That's right.
All right, so you sleep till 6.
Well, if Florida wins, I don't sleep, but because I'll be too excited.
I get it.
But yeah, I would think sleep from.
I got a game to call. If Florida wins, I might not sleep. Okay.
Sleep from 2 to 6, I guess, 4 hours. Which surprisingly, I'm not bad on 4 hours.
Yeah,
I'm not great on
6
hours.
Yeah,
but for some reason, like on 4 hours,
I can do fine on 4 hours.
I'm okay on 4. I'll sleep in Monday and probably Tuesday morning a little bit,
right.
But my expectation is nothing that a strong cup of coffee won't.
If Florida wins that game, I might have to drive over to Tailgaters with you and Mia doing the show and just give you a fist bump.
Yeah.
Just before I just may have to.
Well, you join us anyway.
I mean,
so
maybe you know what? They win that game, it might be live. It might be a live performance. So then then you and Mia will do the kickoff show.
Correct, from 8 to 10, and then I'll head over.
Then you'll wander over to the bank.
Stadium.
To the bank.
Yeah.
What 2 big games? And
very lucky.
Yeah. Oh, what a weekend!
What a
that'll
life!
be.
Yeah.
No rainouts in football, so you're good there.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we'll have great weather. I'd say I'm curious to see Saturday night. I saw the temperature is 86 degrees.
Right.
So I do think that's interesting. And it speaks to why Tennessee really hasn't played well in the swamp because, gosh, that stickiness, that humidity.
That's right.
It's just so tough if you're not used to it. And even at 7:00, I mean, it's still tough if you're running around in pads and a helmet,
right?
And you're not used to it. So I think if you're Florida, you're hoping that it's extra humid and sticky on Saturday in the swamp.
Yeah, and the Chiefs almost catch a little bit of a break because it's cool. The high on Sunday is 84. Now, 84 is not cool, but if you're not wanting to play in that 98 that we've been having,
right.
Can you imagine if it was 3 weeks ago and that game was 98?
Be brutal.
I mean, it really would. So the Chiefs catch a little bit of a break. By the way, do I see rain on Sunday?
I haven't actually looked yet.
Yeah,
so maybe.
I think we're looking at. I don't have time for rain on Sunday, Carline. I just want you to know that. But
that wouldn't be any good.
But it looks like to me I'm seeing rain on Sunday, which would be no good. No rain on Saturday, by the way.
You're right. 60% chance.
Gators first, Jags in a minute. What do the Gators have to do to win the game? How does Florida beat that Tennessee team?
Run for 210 yards, something to that effect. Montrell Johnson and Trevor Etienne, combining for 170, and then maybe you get a supplemental 40 from Trey Wilson or maybe Mizell. Maybe Graham Mertz is able to pick up, 20 yards for you. I think it starts there because if you can frustrate Tennessee, keep them off the field, if you can run the ball against them, protect Mertz a little bit from some bad situations that forces him into throwing it when maybe you don't want him to. I think it starts there. And I think defensively Florida will have something for Tennessee. Now, I think Tennessee's so explosive that I can't imagine that they're going to be held under 24.
Right.
So I still think if you're Billy Napier, you're thinking I've got to find a way into the 30s to probably have a chance in this one. But I do think Florida's defense has greatly improved. They obviously have you can't give Tennessee mistakes. You can't target. You can't hit late. You can't jump off sides on 3rd and 4. And the other thing I will say is be prepared to defend all 4 downs. Tennessee goes for it.
Yeah, they do.
They are very aggressive on 4th down. And so Florida, I honestly, particularly since they've had issues with the substitutions on punting, if it's 4th and 4 or less,
right,
and they look like they're going to punt,
just leave them out there.
I might just keep my defense out there and let the ball bounce around.
Yeah, everybody punt safe is supposed to be easy. Your free safety runs off, the return guy runs on, and nobody else moves. But Florida messed that up.
Right.
They messed. You can't ever mess. You should never mess up punt safe.
Right.
And they did. I think for the Florida-Tennessee, I think the key for Florida-Tennessee is I would want to see, number one, Utah didn't run on them, and McNeese isn't very good, so it's not much of a test. I would think, okay, if you keep them from running on you with those two big defensive tackles, Caleb Banks and Cam Jackson, and then McClellan and Dez, linebackers have played pretty well. Scooby Williams and Shamar James are good players.
Yeah, they are.
And so if you can keep him from running on you and you don't let him out of the pocket, I'll take my chances there. My fear with Joe Milton is he will hurt you when he gets out of the pocket, either as a runner or as a passer, very much like Anthony Richardson. I thought one of the best things the Jags did against Richardson, he made some yards running, but he didn't do anything dynamic out of the pocket. You know that they rushed, but they didn't rush. It was a very measured rush, a stay home, don't over pursuit rush. So I think the Florida needs to play that way. Again, get that thing. If you're the Gators, get that thing to the third quarter, late third quarter, early fourth, where you're either ahead or close. Just get that game to where the crowd can really be a factor. What you don't want is you're down 28-6, early third. Well, then the crowd's out of it. Hell, the crowd might be gone. You know so I think that's the key. As for the Jaguars, I got to tell you, I'm not. This isn't trying to take the air out of the ball and keep Patrick Mahomes from beating you by playing. I think the Jaguars, they just do what they do, don't you think? I think it's just do what you do.
They certainly could. The interesting thing is going to be, so the Colts prioritized stopping Christian Kirk because they weren't really sure how sharp Ridley was going to be.
Right.
Well, Ridley was obviously very sharp. He had 100 yards by halftime, it felt like. And so now I think you're going to see that shift to where the Chiefs are going to prioritize stopping Ridley. So I do think this is, again, where the Jaguars have an advantage because they can go to Christian Kirk more, and I believe they will, that'll be a big priority. I mean, obviously you still want to get Calvin Ridley involved, but, you're not – the beauty of this offense is if they're just going to take that away, you don't have to force it to Ridley.
Correct.
I mean, you can go to Christian, Zay, Evan Ingram. And the other thing, too, is, I mean, I like the confidence that they built in the ground game late. And if Chris Jones is going to be out there, I'm going to physically test him in the run game to see what he has. And, so I might prioritize that a little bit more and try and throw some body blows in the ground game against the Chiefs, particularly just to see if Chris Jones is really in football shape.
Yeah.
And see if I can slow down his pass rush a little bit by making him really concerned about the run game. But to your point, yeah, I mean, I in asking Osher this on Monday, I agree with him. I don't think this is a game where you go in and say, boy, we've got to fake a punt or we're going to have to onside because we've got to somehow steal a possession from these guys. I still don't know if the Jaguars match up great defensively with the Chiefs, if the Chiefs have Kelsey. But from an offensive standpoint, I don't think that there's a team outside of maybe San Francisco on the schedule that I think has pretty much an answer for anything the Jaguars would want to do.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing is if the Jags can do what they do, if you can get going and doing what you do. Am I crazy that I'm sitting here? I don't know if I'll pick them only not to jinx them because this is the defending world champions. But I'm sitting here at 5:31 on a Tuesday thinking they might win. Do you feel that way?
I feel better about the Jaguars winning the game than the Gators winning theirs.
Yeah, I don't think Florida's going to beat Tennessee. But I think there's a chance. I feel pretty good chance the Jaguars might win that game.
I certainly think they could. I mean, again, even if Kelsey and Jones are active, we know Jones will be active. But I think Kelsey will be as well. They probably aren't 100%. Again, even for Kelsey, it's his. Even if the bone bruise on his knee isn't really bothering him or limiting him much, it's still his first game of the season.
That's right.
When everyone else has played on the Jaguar defense, that does mean something. And Jones is going to be running up against it too. And we know he's not in football shape because to a man, any player that has played this game at the highest level, at the NFL level, is going to say there's just no way. There's no way he's ready for a football game. He might be in great condition, but he's not ready for this yet. And so I do think the Jaguars, because of that, because you're probably getting Kelsey at 85% and you're probably getting Chris Jones at 80%. Yeah, I think that matters because they just don't have the number of good players the Jaguars have. They've got 3 superstar players, and 2 of them are not 100% right now.
Yeah, and they what makes them so good is they've got Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes can make guys look not great, players that aren't great look great. He just does stupid stuff. But to be clear, the Jags hung with them last year. The Jags match up well with them. The Jags are one of the few teams I think that will be able to score with them. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. We still got half a week to go, but I can't wait to get there. We'll take a break. One segment to go, then we'll turn it over to the ladies from Helmets and Heels. This is 1010XL on 92.5 FM.
The Frangie Show, live from the Hastings Injury Law Firm Studios on 1010XL. Hit back with Hastings.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update, brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, here are the latest lines from my guys in the desert.
Yankees pitcher Garrett Cole is the favorite to win the American League Cy Young Award at minus 1,700. Seattle's Luis Castillo is at plus 1,000. Minnesota's Sonny Gray plus 5,000. Kevin Gossman is also plus 5,000 to win the Cy Young. Blake Snell of the San Diego Padres, he's the betting favorite to win the Cy Young in the National League at minus 220. Justin Steele of the Cubs at plus 220. Arizona's Zach Gallen plus 800. Zach Wheeler of the Phillies is at plus 9,000. This update brought to you by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic, and Air Conditioning, a proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1010XL.
Bailiff, what's the next case?
Judge, the defendant has been accused of pouring cooking grease down the kitchen sink.
I didn't know where to put it, Your Honor.
See? Guilty!
Who's the plaintiff?
His wife, Your Honor.
Are there damages?
No, Your Honor. I called for help and the drain was fixed.
Who did you call?
For any drain issues, just call the Duck. The pros at Duck Rooter.
When you're stuck, call the Duck. 904-862-6769.
This is Josh Woolsey with Woolsey Morecambe. When deciding what lawyer to trust with your car accident or injury case, the most reliable way is reviews and results. You want to be treated well, and you want a great result. Woolsey Morecambe's reviews are through the roof, and I challenge any law firm to compare results. Clients continue switching to us from other firms because we continue delivering. Recently, a car accident client left a big firm, and Woolsey Morecambe got her 10 times what they said it was worth. If you want to be treated right and want great results, call Woolsey Morecambe, 638-4235.
How's Wingstop sound? Crispy, juicy classic wings, sauced and tossed in those 11 soul-satisfying flavors. Paired with hand-cut seasoned fries, house-made honey mustard, blue cheese, or signature Wingstop ranch. I think you've heard enough. Get your flavor delivered at wingstop.com.
Wingstop is here, and we're serving up some serious flavor. Classic wings, boneless wings, tenders, chicken sandwich, we have it all. Download the Wingstop app or order online at wingstop.com. From the new Wingstop at 96604 Argyle Forest Boulevard.
Hey, sports fans, this is Hayes Carline for QC Kinetics. Look, I can't make it any simpler. QC Kinetics can change your life. You can live again without that chronic joint pain and without drugs or surgery. You got to go see them in their Mandarin or Ponte Vedra locations. Call for a free consultation, 904-274-5522. QC Kinetics is advanced regenerative medicine. They take your body's own concentrated healing properties and put them right into your joint to restore and repair that damaged tissue that's causing all of that horrible pain. The patient satisfaction reports are astonishing. Finally, a real alternative to the old ways of dealing with pain. If you have constant pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or back, you need to call and get a free consultation from the medical professionals at QC Kinetics today. Imagine this fall, moving around pain-free, doing the things you love again, walking, hiking, playing with grandkids. Call QC Kinetics at 904-274-5522.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
There are so many ways you can catch me.
Catch Mia O'Brien on XL Primetime weekdays.
On Helmets and Heels Tuesday nights.
And on 1010XL's video and social channels. All things Mia are driven by Arlington Toyota.
It's Mo Time with Mo Bryan.
Business owners know Andy's Automotive and Truck Services for routine fleet maintenance or emergency repairs. Andy's offers after-hours and mobile service to minimize downtime and keep your fleet on the road. Visit andysats.com.
Are you drowning in credit card debt? Want to get cash out of your home's equity? Loan Pronto can now do it in less than a week. Hey, it's Prosser here, and that's right. Loan Pronto's Equity Express line of credit just got even faster. You can get $50,000, $100,000, or even $200,000 in as little as 5 days. And you don't even have to touch your primary mortgage, so you can keep that 3% rate intact. Just get the money you need and pay off all those credit cards, or get that home improvement project started. With this revolutionary program, you can access up to 90% of your home's value, and in most cases, there's no appraisal. Stop paying insane interest rates to the credit card companies and get tens or even hundreds of thousands in cash in as little as 5 days. Call Loan Pronto now for the even faster Equity Express line. 904-999-1508. LoanPronto.com or 904-999-1508. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval.
Brian and Angela Wall here with Window World. Hurricanes happen in Florida. That's not news. But what happens even more often than hurricanes are home break-ins. And if security is important to you, you might want to look into hurricane-rated impact windows.
What you may not know is that hurricane-rated impact windows not only help protect your home in case of a hurricane, but they also offer another level of security for your home.
Have you seen those videos on YouTube that show people trying to break through an impact window? A thief is way too lazy to spend his energy trying to break through one of our impact windows. That's why he doesn't have a real job like you. He'd rather break your non-impact window while you're at work. Window World has high-quality, very affordable hurricane-rated impact windows to help protect your home from hurricanes and from lazy thieves.
Call us today at 904-443-7001. Get a free estimate and see for yourself. You save energy, get more security, and the windows add value to your home. With all Window World windows, you get the best guarantee in the window replacement business.
Window World,
simply the best for less.
And thank you for your business.
W's and L's are what it's all about in football season, and you know you want to be a winner. Well, don't forget about calling Florida Home AC at 777-4300 before all your friends come over and that AC or heating unit conks out. You'll have that L on your forehead, and that sticks. Make sure your AC can handle the heat, and invite the gang over for a win. Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, with prompt and quick service to make sure you stay cool in the heat and warm in the winter.
This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, head team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. Here's the latest update on the Jags, brought to you by Baptist Health and JOI.
Kansas City Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce did not play in Week 1 after suffering a deep bone bruise in his knee. Kelce was a mismatch for the Jaguars defense in the AFC divisional round of the playoffs, catching 14 passes for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jaguars analyst Jeff Lageman, a guest this morning of Jaguars Today, spoke about what his plan would be on Sunday for Travis Kelce.
I mean, you just got to attack him. I would even consider doubling him just because he's the most dangerous threat in Kansas City's offense. And even if he's hurt, I would still consider doing that, even if he wouldn't be a big factor in the game plan.
Jeff Lageman this morning with Jaguars Today. I'm Andrew Gibson with your Jacksonville Orthopedic Institute Jaguars Update.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, the official personal injury law firm of the Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
It's a Nimnik Tuesday on The Frangie Show. Nimnik, your friends in the car business since 1941.
Let me put this in perspective for you. Show you how excited I am about this football weekend. Kansas City Chiefs come calling. You know, we are like 16 minutes closer than the last time we came back from a break. Yeah, I didn't know if you knew that or not, okay?
Yeah.
I'm just telling you.
That's a healthy percentage.
16 minutes closer since the last time we came back from a break, so it's going to be an awful lot of fun. A week from Saturday, by the way, the Noles and Clemson. That is a gigantic game for Dabo Swinney. It's almost bigger for him than FSU. I mean, it's big for FSU because they're trying to win the national championship. But FSU could lose that game, still beat Clemson or whoever in the championship game, and they're still in. That's almost a mulligan game for FSU now, assuming they don't lose any others. You agree with that?
It feels that way. It certainly helps that Alabama's already taken a loss.
Correct. So it's possibly a mulligan game, right? So having said that, but it's not for Clemson. Clemson's already lost.
Yeah, they
had an embarrassing loss. And not only would they be out, and we'll talk about this more next week when it's the week of the game, but not only will they be out, but they will have lost their swagger if they lose again. If they lose at home, after getting kind of run out of the gym at Duke of all places, if you turn around and you're 2-2 and you've lost a home game now, you've lost twice and we haven't left September, and you're Clemson, the swagger is gone, man. The desperate Clemson forever was trying to get into that next group. And even though they were getting better and getting better, FSU kept waxing them. That's probably what led to Tommy Bowden out and Dabo in. But finally they got Deshaun Watson. Then they got Trevor. And then they got over the hump. Then they won a title. Then they rolled Ohio State. All of a sudden they looked like the team. They not look like they legitimately belonged and earned their way into that 4 or 5 team elite with Alabama and Ohio State and Georgia and Oklahoma. They earned their way in. Well, they've been slipping. Right? They lost to Tennessee in a bowl game last year. Their quarterback had to transfer out. They're playing another quarterback.
They lost to South Carolina.
They lost to South Carolina last year and got rolled 28-7 by Duke this year. So if they're hanging on to that rope, okay, if they're slipping off the roof, man, they got one last hand on that rope. They got to win this game because, like it or not, you lose this one. If you are 0-2 in your league and one of them's a home game and the other one's Duke and you haven't gotten out of September, you're ordinary. You then have become ordinary.
And they'd be staring 7-5, 8-4 right in the face if they lose to Florida State because they still have games at Miami October 21st. They then go on the road again. You almost never see this with big-time college programs. They go on the road the very next Saturday to NC State. So Miami road, NC State on the road, who gave Notre Dame a pretty good battle
for a while at least.
Then they host Notre Dame, so they have a 3-week window, late October, early November.
Wow, that's a tough stretch.
That could be a 1-2. Well, that's your 4th loss. You close the season, a home game against North Carolina on November 18th. I'd be inclined to pick North Carolina today. I mean, we'll see where we are then, and then they go to Columbia. So, I mean, you look at their schedule. If they lose to Florida State to pick up the second loss,
it could be a tough.
It could be 8-4, 7-5.
Wow,
which would just be unthinkable for that program.
You know what? 8-4 to here. They come to the Gator
Absolutely.
Bowl. And by the way, they'd pack the place, and Greg McGarity would be thrilled.
Florida Clemson.
Well, yeah. How good would that be? I'd love that.
That'd be
fantastic. Florida's got to get there.
Just any bowl for Florida. Yeah. But the Gator would be sensational.
How fun would that be? And again, I'm calling it, so that'd be a lot of fun. So I think we're calling that one. So.
Well, you work on, speaking of that, so when it's a big game like the Chiefs, do you think of things like, or I know you said you did when they were playing the Patriots in the AFC title game. Do you think about like things, or is it it's week 2, it's the regular season, and
phrases?
Yeah, things like if they win, things, anything like that?
The only time I've ever done that, think about what I will say, was the Patriots game and the AFC Championship game, and I knew what I was going to say. I knew, and you want to be careful because you want it to be organic,
right?
I mean, even the how good is that started out organically because I've said it all my life.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to be. I have to be really careful that I don't try and force it because that's what everybody's expecting Frank to say. Because then it's not organic. Then it sounds stilted. You know what I mean? Then it doesn't sound as real. I never talked to Mick about the whole "oh my" thing, but I'm guessing he said "oh my," it just came out. I'm guessing he didn't plan "oh my."
Right.
So the whole "how good is that" thing has been kind of fun.
Yeah.
But I don't ever want to just be someone who says, okay, it's time to say how good is that.
Right.
But back to your question, yeah, I think if I knew exactly what I was saying if they'd beaten the Patriots, It would take that, though. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it would take.
The stakes would have to be that high.
They would.
Yeah.
It would take a win. Now, fun little player stuff. I was waiting for one touchdown to say "Hasta la Vista."
Yeah.
That was planned.
Yeah.
And I blew it. The one touchdown freaking Snoop Connor ever scored. I was gonna go Snoop. There it is, and I freaking blew it because I'm just a colossal choker. So but no. Other than team thing, I think it's got to. People want that to be organic and natural and real, and like Tony was telling us about hobnailed boot. He talked to Munson the next week. Munson said, "I don't know where it came from.
Yeah.
I don't know why I said it. I don't even know what that is." Wasn't that a great story? So I don't even know what it is. I said hobnail boot. I'm not sure what a hobnail boot is. That was a great story. But I will tell you this. Like anybody else, like someone watching the game, tailgating for the game, covering the game in your case, or calling the game in my case, the energy you get, the energy I will win or lose against Tennessee, Florida against Tennessee. I won't sleep super great Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to say I'll get a good night's sleep. I won't because I'll be so jacked up for the night. I can't wait. I mean, that'll be a Christmas morning thing to me. Kansas City coming to town, and part of it is, it's the continuation of this great off season of expectations. That's the thing. It's been, and week one didn't disappoint. I mean, can you imagine if they'd have lost that game? If they had lost, even though it's only one game in an NFL season and it happens, the way it would have felt if the Jags had lost to the Colts, a team that's not great, with a rookie quarterback, that would not have felt right. You know? So thank goodness they found a way to come back. Thank goodness for Jamal Agnew.
Yeah.
Who I think, because if he doesn't get them in position to take the lead, I'm not sure Anthony Richardson gets baited into the throw that Tyson Campbell picked off.
No doubt.
I think one came after the other for that reason.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just lifted up the entire sideline. It's like, oh, Jamal just did something great. Well, now we're going to go score. Whereas you didn't feel like the offense had that belief. You felt like the Colts were dominating them up front, and that was going to continue. You know, it was similar to the vibe against the Titans in the finale, where it just didn't feel like the offense was going to be able to find any kind of groove. So, again, they're not feeling great in Cincinnati today. They're not feeling great in Buffalo. They haven't felt great in Kansas City now for about a full week after losing the home opener. So, never take winning for granted. There's some elite clubs out there that really wish that they'd been able to get it done.
Well, you're right about that. As a matter of fact, I think that no question, you never know what's coming.
Yeah, that's right. Now for today's takeaways, RJ.
Now, today's takeaways, brought to you by Key Buick GMC, where our family dealership has been helping families buy vehicles for over 50 years.
I think my takeaway is the Aaron Rodgers injury and how it drastically affects the AFC picture. The Jets are out as contenders. They might win 8 or 9 games. They might play spoiler. I don't think that they're going to make the playoffs with Zach Wilson or whatever quarterback solution that they come up with. I think the Jets' championship dream died with Aaron Rodgers' Achilles being torn last night. And it's still a very deep conference. But again, if you're the Jaguars, I think you enter into week 2, a game up on Kansas City, certainly a game up on everybody in your division, also a game up on Cincinnati and Buffalo. If the Jaguars can get the win Sunday, it's early, obviously, but they have really positioned themselves well in going after that number 1 seed. If they're able to beat the Chiefs on Sunday, they'd be 2.5 games up on Kansas City.
All right, let's say hello to Mia.
Now, the 2-minute drill, brought to you by Tire Outlet. Keeping the sports world spinning with wholesale prices and premium service. Tire Outlet, Jacksonville's largest locally owned automotive repair shop.
If the Gators beat the Vols and I show up at 5 till 8 Sunday morning with champagne for Carline, are you going to partake?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We're in it together?
Absolutely.
All right, how about
because
that?
I
5 till 8, I'll have glasses and the big bottle, and we'll do all that.
I don't drive a station car, so all is well. And usually Kevin likes to just carpool with me anyways, because then he doesn't have to worry about buying parking for himself to go to the game, so he'll drive. We're good. All is well. How are we doing?
That'll be perfect. I'm so excited about this weekend. I mean, the Chiefs come in. I think the Jags might beat the Chiefs. I'm always that guy. I'm happy homer guy. I admit to it. But I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, obviously excited. I think it's tempered by the fact that, Jaguar fans have had the anxiety of, well, look at what happened in 2018 when we got all hyped for that Patriots game, and look what happened in 2019 when the last time the Chiefs came to Duval County, and obviously Nick Foles suffered an Aaron Rodgers-like injury 11 plays into the game. Knock on wood, think we're in the clear.
Yeah.
None of that's going to happen. And I think part of it that's so fascinating for me, and I know you brought this up in the handoff on Primetime, my first week working in Jacksonville was the Patriots week.
Okay.
Week 2. So maybe I looked through different colored glasses because that was my first week and I was still at the TV station and obviously they're, pumping it up from the news and the sports side. But I feel like it's a quiet excitement right now. Not that that's a bad thing. I think it's a tempered, we know how good this team can be, but it's not a revenge game like I think that Patriots 2018 game was.
I tell you what, though, Mia, if the Jags win this game.
Oh, the rest of the league is never going to hear the end of it. Although, again, and I've said this, I've gone on record and said this, I think because of everything that happened in 2018, you won't hear Jags fans, they'll be online and, if they beat the Chiefs, they'll be saying stuff, but it won't reach a fever pitch until week 6, week 7. If this is still being sustained,
that's the way it should be.
That's when it's
I
going to be real.
I gotta believe victory Sunday night and victory Monday will be pretty special. So, but you're right. We'll see. All right, what's coming up tonight? What are we doing?
Oh well, full slate. Unfortunately, no Taylor Doll. She's got some other stuff she's attending to, but all is well. Don't worry, Taylor's good. She was here today. So no Taylor. So just Lauren and I holding down the fort with JJ. Obviously, you're gonna span the National Football League. Our sweet shots brought to you by Bellwether, and I've got a series of questions with regards to college football. What team is the most back? What team has disappointed you the most?
Okay.
And has your Heisman favorite changed 2 weeks into the college football season?
I love all three. I'll be listening.
Absolutely.
Those are 3 very good questions. Thanks, Mia. Mia and Lauren have helmets and heels. No Taylor Doll tonight. Taylor will be back next week. That'll do it. Tomorrow, we're one day closer.
I love it.
Live right over here at the Southside location
right.
of Island Wing Company, talking all kind of ball with you. We're out here.
Coconut shrimp tomorrow.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm hungry right now. Now I'm hungry. We're out of here. For Hayes, RJ, and Lauren, I'm Frank Frangie. Don't go anywhere. Helmets and Heels is next on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.